There's enough hot takes out there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my hot take is that they look neat
Yeah.
and that my picture is blurry. That's my hot take.
That's fair. Sam Cam properties. Nope. Oop. 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 Why are you a square?
Why am I a square?
Oh, that's because Riverside has you, not rectangular.
Hmm.
I just keep thinking about like if Nightcrawler really is X Force, which I really hope in all my wildest dreams that he is.
Yeah.
Um, that he actually is X Force and that he like absolutely breaks cat and mouse. Because
Movement, like all over.
yeah, well, because it's like Psylocke already like makes cat and mouse super interesting,
Yeah.
but like I could literally imagine Nightcrawler like truly like breaking.
I'm here for it. Well, let's see.
I'm like having an argument in the well, not really an argument, but the in the X Force fan server.
Oh no.
Because there's a guy, his handle is like literally Bishop, and he loves Bishop, and I always every time he brings up Bishop, I'm like the traitor. You mean like I listed my perfect list. I'm like if I could like run like Cable, Psylocke, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Phantom X, I'd be happy. And then he's like, well, that's pretty much a good list, except for you know who I'm gonna say. And I said the traitor. I said, I hate. Like, I love Bishop. Like, I actually used to really like Bishop until like, well, first of all, like the characters, like they do really weird storylines with Bishop. Like they've tried to make him kill Gambit in the past because he thought Gambit was gonna be the like mutant genocide, but ended up being Charles with Onslaught. And then like trying to kill Hope is like what the hell.
Yeah, trying to kill Hope is.
Yeah, nobody kills Hope. Hope's awesome. Hope would be great for X Force too. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, we're live. Yeah, by the way.
No, that's fine. I'm just here. I'm here.
I'm just here. Yeah, you're here. But no, I'm super excited for Bishop. Like I as much as I shit on the character because of like writing, I still think he's an awesome character and he's got one of the best mullets in all of comics.
He does have a very powerful mullet. Like there's mullets and then there's Bishop's hairdo. And
Ben says, I have a listener question. Why are Winter Guards so bad and why do I suffer with them? Because you said I am playing Winter Guard for Lent and you are still doing it.
Well, it's not over yet, right? You got like
yeah, so he's still got to keep playing. He's got what, 2 more weeks?
Easter. That's hilarious. So you gave up good affiliations for Lent.
He should have played X Force because then it's at least still somewhat good. Psylocke is so good, man. Like anybody who's like hated on X Force in the past needs to just play X Force as Psylocke because Psylocke changes the game in my opinion. Like she makes games feel so much better. Like that game that we played.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had a fighting chance. Where I think if I was playing affiliated old X Force without Psylocke into you, I feel like it would have been a struggle bus the entire way.
Yep.
It's gone from like an uphill battle at like a 90-degree incline to like maybe like sometimes an even footing to maybe like a 70-degree incline.
I feel okay about this.
Yeah, like I'm good with it. All right, let's have fun. We're gonna go live. Okay, you ready for this? I
Sure.
don't even know what we're talking about because I forgot already. But we're gonna have fun tonight. I'm like super like.
I love it. Let's just spice out for 90 minutes and
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I'm just here to have a good time tonight.
There we go.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky?
You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
All right, welcome to the Rogue Agents podcast, a podcast where Dizzard myself is going to eventually have to play Bishop in X-Force.
Gotcha.
I mean, I had to say it before you got me with it.
Yeah.
Adepticon panel was super cool today. We're going to get to it, but let's go ahead and do our thing. Thank you to the patrons. We love you. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you, Ben, in the Twitch chat for talking to us and keeping us entertained. Apparently, Ben sent me a screenshot yesterday, I think it was, of apparently people were asking in like the professional casual Twitch chat of like, I want to play X-Force and I don't know where to start. And everybody, like, I guess everybody was like, go talk to Dizzard. Like, and I'm like, oh,
Here's your person.
he's the X-Force. I guess I've reclaimed my title of X-Force Messiah, even though I don't have the #1 spot on launchings for X-Force yet.
That's all right.
People just come to me, I guess. Diz is the master X-Force guy. I may not play them the best, but I feel like I help people play them the best. You know, like because there was somebody who's like they're in the X-Force fan server Discord, and they were like,
Yeah.
man, I'm doing really good with X-Force right now. This, and this, and someone's like, what's the list? What do you do? And he's like, talk to Dizzard. And I was like, well, I'm glad somebody else is like having a great old time with them.
I'm doing
But
really
yeah,
good.
we had so thanks listeners, thanks Ben and other Twitch chat people who are here. Thank you to I guess what else we got? Listeners, patrons, Twitch chat. Thanks AMG for just making a great game and
There we go.
from looking like a great Adepticon from what I could see and living vicariously through everything. And there's just so much crazy stuff happened today. I guess let's just talk about the elephant in the room and why I'm I totally forgot I did this too. I wore a shirt because it was gonna be funny. And I was gonna be like, welcome to the Rogue Squad Agents. And be like, we're now a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast.
The Shatterpoint stuff looks pretty cool. I'm glad they're jumping right into everything instead of having a longer rollout for like original trilogy stuff. And the sooner we can get Kylo Ren in the game, the happier I'll be.
Fair. Yeah, I'm excited, but we'll save that for another day. But I was gonna be super funny and be like, we are now oh man.
Yeah,
but yeah, you should have. I should have messaged you and had you wear a Star Wars shirt too. I love this shirt. This is probably one of my favorite Star Wars shirts because it's like
shirt.
The Van Gogh, the Star Trooper. Anyways, yeah, a lot of cool stuff was dropped by AMG today. First of all, Bishop and Nightcrawler, who AMG, if you're listening to this, if they are not both X-Force affiliated, I might riot. Because they are both canonically X-Force and for quite a long time too. So yeah. Plus, also, I think Nightcrawler and X-Force affiliated would absolutely break cat and mouse. So I'm really curious to see what he's gonna do, and if this is true, if my thoughts will be like cool. You spelled "your" wrong, by the way, Ben.
That's my not wrong. That's my not wrong.
I said Ben.
No,
said Ben.
It's possessive.
Oh, fair. Okay. Oh, that is your. I see what you're saying. Took me a second.
I do.
All right.
I almost always catch it, but I do it so often. Just like
Shadow King's out of all the models today, I think Shadow King has like the sickest model. Oh, I know, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Between those two,
Cosmic Ghost Rider makes me happy. That's a fun run.
yeah.
It makes me want to paint Punisher Thanos, but It's such a expensive box to get a second copy of.
Vanisher.
Sorry, I'm late, Dad.
Oh man. I guess fun things today is I was at the Richmond Galaxy Con and I got to meet Chris Claremont and
yeah.
God, I can't remember his last name now all of a sudden. Joe there's an R. Why can't I think of it?
The dude that drew Thanos?
Yeah, the dude that drew Thanos for Infinity Gauntlet. What was real funny was like I'm like sitting there and I was like walking around and getting ready to leave, and nobody was sitting there talking to him, so I kind of went over to him and like started talking. And
who are you?
Well, I was just talking to him, and he had a joke for me. He told me like something about some general in private and doing push-ups, and I don't remember the joke that much. And then like I started looking at like the stuff he had on his table, and it said like artists that first created like or like drew Gambit, and I was like, oh my god, like how did I not realize that this is a guy that pretty much made Gambit look like what he looks like? Like,
yeah,
I was like, wow. God, I can't remember his name. Joe, it starts with an R. I'm like
Joe Rubenstein.
That's what it is. Yeah. So like Gambit, he drew like Thanos for the Infinity Saga, and like a bunch of other stuff too. He did Spider-Man for a little bit, but that Chris Claremont, not Dan, but Dindo. I forget his first name. Dindo was there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of really. Oh, the guy who plays, I can't remember his name now. God damn, I'm terrible with names. One of the Star Trek guys, who, like the Picard series, and he was also an older Star Trek guy too.
Huh.
Josh Blake, I think.
No idea.
I don't know. I'm blanking on it. And then I also met the guy from Clerks, the guy that plays like the main character, Dante. He was there. I shook his hand.
Nice.
I went up to him. I was like, man, I gotta shake your hand. Like, I love the movies when I was like a kid. And
it would be really hard for me not to be like, hey, are you supposed to be here today?
I imagine he probably had a bunch of people doing that. So
yeah. No claims to originality, but
yeah.
Just what comes
so
to mind
it was cool. But yeah, seeing the guy that like drew Gambit and Thanos was when I walked up to him though, like he was literally like with like an ink and a paintbrush, like literally like sketching out a Thanos, which was kind of cool. Like he's just sitting there bored drawing. So that was pretty neat. Yeah. Like, and I was like, it's super weird. Like, it's surreal. Like seeing people like this. Like, you grew up reading the comics and like, it's just like meeting like famous people, you know. So
it's neat. I mean, like those situations are always like, it's like, well, I have access to you, like, so that's cool. I'm glad that you wanted to be here today. That's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We, my wife and I met. Oh man, what is his name? The dude that played Debo from the Friday movies.
Uh-huh.
And it was super fun. We got to meet him, and like he like put some kid in a headlock while we were there, and like it was interesting to watch him like be like aggressive with someone, but like also be like well within whatever the parameters that his lawyer established.
Yeah,
like what he's allowed to do.
Oh, the guy who played Kingpin in the series was there too.
Oh wow, like D'Onofrio or
Yep.
Wow, hot diggity, man. That's a fun little con thing.
There was somebody else there too. I don't remember who he was.
When you started messaging me about like this, I was like, "That's awesome." And then
you're like, "Go talk to Claremont, see if he wants to do an interview." And I was like,
"So when's he coming on?"
He was so busy the entire time. Like,
man.
Like me, like saying hi to him was basically like me, like walking by his table and be like, "Hey, I'm a fan. I love Wolverine and Gambit. Like you, like created my childhood. Thank you."
Yeah, super cool. That's so super cool, though.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my day today, and then we talked about Army because that was what I was there for, was to like promote Army stuff.
There was a podcast during during the pandemic that I discovered during like lockdown pandemic time. Like it hasn't made any new episodes. I'm guessing like it just kind of everybody moved on from it. But it would Method Man from like Wu-Tang fame doing interviews with other like moderately famous people and comic book creators about comic books. It's awesome. There's only like 10 episodes of it out there. It's called like Method Marvel or the Marvel Method. I think it's Marvel Method. And like it's super fun little podcast where they just like do these like deep dives on a character or an author and their runs. Like Claremont's got an interview on that. It was
really
just super interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna see if I can find Claremont in the email. Way to contact him and just I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if we can get a Rogue Agents Claremont interview. How cool would that be?
It'd be super cool.
But I'm gonna try. It just didn't feel like right to go up and talk to him while he's signing stuff.
No,
like, hey man, you want to come onto my miniature gaming podcast?
We're working on a sponsorship from Victory Brewing.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh man. Anyways, Adepticon and news from Adepticon. Bishop and Nightcrawler looks super cool.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm super excited. I really hope that they're X-Force affiliated. And the reason why people give me crap because I say I won't play Bishop, but I'll probably absolutely play Bishop if he's X-Force affiliated. But like, if people don't know this, Bishop at one point in time tried to kill Gambit because he thought he was going to cause a mutant genocide. And he also tried to kill Hope, which meant him trying to kill Cable, which is no bueno in my book. So when I play Bishop, it's going to be very much like this is the Bishop before he tried to kill the people I liked. So, and then, but I would be so much happier if it was Phantom X. Like I would love Phantom X in this game.
It'd be cool, but it's not. It's Bishop.
It's not.
You
It's
get Bishop.
I get
You
Bishop.
get Bishop.
If he's even affiliated, he'll be probably X-Men. But it also having Bishop also and Kitty coming out like that also like starts to set up Marauders, which is kind of cool.
That would be rad. I still think that it would be awesome to have a Kitty Pryde that's like
The pirate.
A dual affiliation leader.
Yeah.
Where she's like Guardians and Marauders leader, and then you can just play her without leadership too. And X-Men or something.
The fact that they got it's Lockheed, right? That's the dragon's name.
That's the dragon, yeah.
Okay, I was like, I said it and I was like, this sounds wrong for some reason. Having like the fact that Lockheed's like on the base, I was like, that's so cool. Like the art for them were just awesome, and Cosmic Ghost Rider's tight. And then I guess the Wakanda box is cool. I just don't really care for Wakanda.
I think that if you're a fan of Wakanda, this is huge because this is like you've been forgotten for a really long time.
Yeah, because you got M'Baku and Claw and
yeah, I think it just the new models is huge, and then like if there's like the revamp on Killmonger and Black Panther, like they're saying. Like,
do you think here's speculation corner? Do you think that they're gonna do the Logan and Sabretooth treatment where they have a new character card as well?
I feel like that's what was implied. I feel like if you just like Schick basically just like says that. He's like,
I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was like at work and everything. So
he says new cards. He said new cards, new rules for that. So that seems.
Yeah, it seems to imply. I think that they learned a lesson with the first rival panels where it's like people are like, I don't want to buy this box if it's not going to be like a different character.
Yeah. And then, so I like what's better? Is it better to have people like telling you that you're doing a cash grab by like locking new cards?
Yeah.
new cards, new models behind terrain, or is it better to just like make a terrain set that nobody wants?
That's fair. Also, I just realized that I didn't like actually play the intro.
I was really curious because I couldn't hear it. I was like, I don't want to get over it. I don't want to.
This whole thing should
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky? You don't like a fair fight. I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
Okay, things are better now.
perfectly balanced.
There we go. Now it's an episode.
Now it's an episode. What else? I think that was it though, right? It was just the Squirrel Girl and Gwenpool cards.
Yep.
And...
Which my picture was too blurry to like actually read.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh my! What happened?
I shaved my head about 2 hours ago. So what were we talking about? Let's just move right along.
Reveals from Adepticon.
Dude, Gwen looks sick. I'm super excited for Gwenpool.
Am I putting you on camera here?
Sure, man. Go for it. I got my Hulk shirt on.
Okay. Boop. Here, this will work.
But yeah, they both look fabulous. I think Squirrel Girl is like, she might not be as good as Logan right now because exceptional isn't allowed. But if you did some investigating, like an investigator like me, professional investigator, on her flip side, she only has 5 health. But if she dies, you can basically get rid of the Skippy, like her little friend token, and she doesn't die. Instead of dying, she heals 1. So she has a built-in whatever it's called, the lockjaw card, and it's a passive. It's not a reactive, so it gets around Mystique. So she is, in my opinion, like probably just as good as Logan. She doesn't have Pierce, she doesn't have the beam, but she has it all the time. Like she can have her friends around and still be fucking people up.
So basically, she's like a more aggressive physical voodoo.
Yes and no. I don't think you ever like putting the whatever Skippy token on a person. You're only ever really doing to like a couple of people, and we all know who, right?
Yeah.
Those skull counters. So like maybe you throw it on Malekith and then double tap into him. But I'm honestly of the opinion that you just like keep the tokens. Voodoo gets 2 extra defense and 2 extra dodge. She gets 2 extra defensive rerolls, period. 2 extra offense rerolls and 2 extra dodge rerolls. It's a different animal, right? Like comparing her to Voodoo begins and ends with the fact that they both have Kooky little friend.
Yeah,
fair enough. I didn't really get a good chance to look at her card, so I really don't know too much.
Her offense with the squirrel is like she basically has Logan's builder without Pierce. Like 5 die reroll 2, range 3.
Yeah, but it's a wild place.
Yeah, but like that's fine. If you have 2 rerolls, you can place if you want to. It's also, let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's an optional place. I don't think you have to do it. I have it saved to my phone.
No, it's not optional.
It's not optional. Never mind. Don't
After this attack is resolved, place this character.
Do you have a clean picture of that? Can you post it?
Yeah, I can throw it in the Discord right now. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay. While you're looking for that, yeah, we were just talking about how I'm gonna be forced to play Bishop, who is probably one of the most hated characters, but not really.
Yeah, I saw you talk about that earlier.
Yeah, like I got nothing against. I'm not gonna say it again, but yeah.
No, we've all read Messiah War. We know the score. We know what's going on. It's all good, man.
And then talk about how cool Cosmic Ghost Rider looks, and I honestly, I think the Shadow King model though is probably the best.
Dude, I love that they're going the Amal Farouk route because that means we could get like, that means someone at AMG has probably read like what's his name, Rick Remendir's X-Force, so we could get like the rest of that like evil crew, like Dakin and I guess everybody's already in the game. But
Dakin
like,
pretty sick.
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse Blob, like all those fun guys. They end up finding Age of Apocalypse, a Nightcrawler. Yeah, I know that's like a big ask when we were barely getting Nightcrawler now, but yeah.
Give me another one.
I mean, a Nightcrawler pack where it's 2 different Nightcrawlers. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I got distracted with other things. What else?
Claw's sculpt looks crazy. Where he's like,
Claws?
He does. I'd like
coming off of his own body.
What's his name? The Cosmic Ghost Rider sculpt looks like incredibly similar to the unofficial Cosmic Ghost Rider sculpt, which I think is hysterical.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Just like Robin from drug dealers. Like,
they have no recourse.
Exactly.
It's like Nacho and Better Call Saul. I love robbing thieves because they have no recourse. They can't go to the they can't go to the cops.
I don't know. I still think the coolest model out of all of these, I don't know, Iceman's pretty cool. But that's just like that's what you'd expect for an Iceman model to look like.
I like Gwen's.
Nightcrawler is pretty cool though.
The cloud. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that looks pretty dope. They're doing really cool effects nowadays. Like Bishop's glow is awesome.
I don't know if I've showed off my bill. I can grab my bill though. My bill looks sick as fuck.
Nightcrawler looks sick. Yeah, Claw does look pretty cool. But you know what? Like I just like Shadow King just like honestly takes the cake for me. Like this is like by far like.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. The Amal Farouk with like the Shadow King rising behind him, he looks incredible. There's no two ways around it.
Like I think that might be my new favorite sculpt in the entire game.
The positioning on the Ultron grunts is really cool. I like that they're so like symmetric in their placement, and having 4 of them where it's just like
maybe they have 4 health. We have even less balanced grunts.
they can interact and secure and
he's a 4-threat character. Yeah,
I just want to see these cards now. Oh man,
I know. I was really surprised we got both Squirrel Girl and Gwenpool today. Since before we like glaze over it, yeah, Gwenpool is cool as like a fun offensive piece. Spider, what the fuck, Squirrel Girl. Gwenpool is just like, she's very similar to Bill in that she just has so much of the best shit in the entire game.
True.
Yeah,
she's so good, and she's probably an Avenger, so now we can run all -1 Avengers.
That's true. Yeah.
Because like I don't know what else she would be besides Avengers.
Damage reduction. How do you feel about the? I heard a rumor. By a rumor, I mean like they basically said what it is, but we haven't actually seen it. That her tactics card. She's got a tactics card that lets you like sideboard in, like any card from your 10.
That's insane.
What do you think about that?
Wait, what?
Having the Mulligan card? Yeah, I heard that too.
Where did you hear that from?
The channels, you know, people say stuff, and I choose to believe it. Yeah, it wouldn't really shock me. Because, like, that's not an effect we have in the game. I'm more... Because, like, people were all talking about how Squirrel Girl was going to have, like... Including myself. Not that we had any evidence this was the case, but, like... We all thought somehow she was going to be able to, like... Do the Super Giant Spender where she just, like, one-shots Thanos, right? That's not a thing she can do right now. Right? Like, she just has... decent attacks and stuff, but nothing, like... No, like, this character is just KO'd. She has dice fixing, which is cool. But I'm guessing that might be her card. And then, yeah, Gwen has, like, the sideboard card. Like, whatever you need, bro. Which I'm all about.
That's fair. Okay. And then I guess we could talk about the winners. Like, the final game was Malkabal versus Pat and his...
Yeah, Thanos Guardians.
And he played Alex Bots, right? That was the finals. It was Pat against Alex.
Yeah. It was funny. I was talking to Craig last night about how I'm like, hey, Thanos Guardians might be pretty fun. And then I was like, wait a second. No, I'd have to run like Thanos, Bill, Star-Lord on a Gambit. That sounds really bad. And then it just won Adepticon. So now I'm like, wait, maybe I'm just bad and I can't roll dice. And Pat is just, you know, better at rolling dice than me. I just need to try Thanos Guardians. It's probably better than I think it is.
That's fair. And this brought up, Sam, you wanted to talk about something with the state of the game or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. So, what do you do on Researcher Gamma? Like,
you fight. I thought that was a weird question.
I
love Researcher Gamma.
I don't know, man.
No, it's pretty
like
bad.
with an IP skin. Like,
no, it really is like
not.
You really do just brawl. Like, there are certain characters that are just, like, so much wildly better at shit like that. Like, you put Crimson Dynamo on that, and he's suddenly the best model in the game, whereas otherwise he's kind of just, like, a dude who shoots beams and doesn't die very easily. But on Researcher Cubes, it's like, oh, buddy, I left my keys in my other bag, you know? I gotta go home. I don't know about all this.
Yeah, it's, that's a game. Like that's
a game for sure.
You're just doing it. So it was cool to watch, like, you know, two top quality players meeting at the top of a 128 man event, right? So
and then do that.
These are people with pretty proven track records as players. They're bringing some, you know, models and lists that are obviously pushing the envelope of what people consider, you know, good to broken, and it's neat to watch them kind of enact the strategies that they had over the course of, you know, it's a pretty short game of Crisis Protocol in general, because you're just a couple of 3-wide rosters at 15, just, you know.
So what, he was playing Cat Dog, right?
Yes.
You know, as much as I, like, no diss to either player, but, like, Cat Dog is a joke. Like, I don't know. Did we think that was really going to do well? You're begging on Malekith to do a 7-die attack turn 1, and then you're just sitting him in front of everyone else. Like, I love it. It's funny, but, like, I would never consider that to be... And again, like, I'm an armchair warrior at its best here, right? Like, this guy just got the top table at Adepticon, and I'm sitting at home, like, not doing that.
Your list to me.
Well, like to be perfectly honest, like, and, like, Sam and I were talking about this last night. Or was it last night? Basically, the fact that, like, the Malekith list is basically enabling Malekith to pretty much be how he used to be pre-nerf. And then also enabling Skull to do stupid shit. So it's like, it's really just enhancing broken, not really broken, but it's just like enhancing aggressiveness. And I think doing that into Thanos Guardians really doesn't care because it's like, hey, go ahead and daze me, and now I'm gonna punish you for it because Thanos is pumping my dice. So I think honestly, like the fact that like Pat had Thanos Guardians really kind of it's the same thing as if he played like a Sam Avengers. It really plays into Malekith's game plan.
Yeah, no, it's like a counter build for sure.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like if to get Researcher Gamma, you basically both have to be running Researcher and Gamma.
Yeah,
and
which is pretty common.
I suppose. I'm just curious, like like somebody's wrong. Right, so if we line up and it's Researcher Gamma and like this is what we both thought we both wanted, or like this is what I thought that I wanted, this is what you thought that you wanted, one of us is wrong. So like where is the like, which of these rosters is the apex predator in this? Like who actually wants this?
To be fair, I do think that Pat has proven time and time again that Thanos Guardians is like the top list. He's been rocking it for what
I think Pat's
now?
just like a very good player.
Well, he is. I'm not going to detract from that at all. But it's like I think I've heard somewhere too that Pat has said that he thinks that this is like the best list, and of course he would think that if he would go to all the way across to a different country to play in an event. But I do think that like I think he's right. I do think that maybe Thanos Guardians might truly be like the epitome of like the best list you can play.
I don't know. Like there are so many things that like not even in theory just like are pretty good into that, right? Like you look at X-Men, like and they all have cover against a primarily ranged team.
Again, this comes back to like it's Pat, but it's like Pat has shown that like it doesn't matter. Like you look at any matchup, Pat has basically proven time and time again that the Thanos Guardians, they just do it because
I mean, like he got what
undefeated.
like, and again, not to just say like this is Pat's fault, but he got like 10 on 11 at the end of the game, something like that. He did like a full auto with Death's Decree and got 10 on 11. I mean, there's something to be said.
The biggest role of that game was the recal that went from a daze to no damage.
Yeah, my man just like he's got plot armor, and that's great for him. I love to see it.
Like, oh, what happens if your Mal came in and dazed my Star-Lord? Oh, all right.
But
please hold.
That's also the craziest thing. The craziest thing though is I would also agree though that I think like a Mal Cabal list is also a top tier list.
I agree.
Because Malek is just really good still.
Yeah, I was testing out Guardians recently since I started playing them because there's like the new Bill home, or this is what I want to be playing Bill, and as we talked about it last week. And it really was like I hit a wall in my testing where I couldn't deal with Malekith Cabal because they would just always have priority and they just kill like my key players. That made me realize, oh, maybe I need an option to also go tall. And at this point, I added Malekith. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can just try Thanos again. Maybe I've been denying myself the Thanos thing. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I think Guardians, like they've had a cheat core since release, right?
Yeah.
Like once they got their update, they really have been like you can just do so much with them.
Well, okay, so I think it's a combination of things though. It's like they have their characters honestly like are like okay. They're not like amazing characters. Like Star-Lord's okay. He's not amazing.
Hey, look at the tier list. Yeah, they're all like mid tiers.
Yeah, but the thing is though is like when you combine all the stuff that they're bringing, it's very much like compounding interest. Like you got like the rerolls, which is like one of the best mechanics you can have in your list in a game, and Thanos is adding dice on top of rerolls. So it's like what I find crazy when you look at these two lists is the amount of variance baked into the lists. Like both of these lists are just high roll lists, or wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're living it like. But here's the thing: is recal does so much better into Mal than it does into anyone in Guardians, right? Because they don't have to deal with that silly like skull crit recal thing happening.
Yeah.
They can just be like, oh no, I'll just roll well again. Sorry. Doesn't matter. These skulls that I treated as crits, like even like reality is in a lot of ways inferior to being able to count as many skulls as you want as crits, but in the recalibration matrix and the not having to spend power argument, it is straight up better, right?
Yeah, and the winging it.
So
and the winging.
So
yeah.
I guess my
Roll into a
question
crit.
then to add on to this though is like you hear sometimes that like competitive people when they're talking about what they want to do in the list is remove variants from the game, but you can see these top table lists are very very high variants and not really removing variants.
Well, I mean,
they're adding more
they are
variants
still
almost.
removing variants, right? It's not like they're just throwing big numbers at each other. They're throwing big consistent numbers at each other. Like Malekith does have very good dice. Thanos Reality does have very good dice. Winging it obviously fixes a lot of that too.
Okay, so why is X-Force not considered so good? Because X-Force literally fixes dice.
Yeah, they fix dice one time per turn, and they fix one of them. Guardians fix two of them, and it's still, it's one per round. Sure.
I had to say it.
No, I know. You also have a 5-threat leader, which is a big detriment. Like 3-threat leaders are just better a lot of the time.
If Cable was 3-threat, and
Cable could be as Cable is right now, he could just be a 4-threat and no one would complain. There are so many 4-threats that are like just as good as Cable or like comparable to Cable. It's insane.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, that's honestly, AMG, make Cable a 4-threat as is. Don't like this.
Yeah, literally, you can just like that's the only errata he needs is to change the thing to a 4, change one number on his card, and he'd be fine. That would actually be such a huge deal for X-Force.
They'd probably be like really really good. And everybody start playing them.
Yeah, we can't have that.
No, we can't.
Wait, why?
Because Dizzard needs to be a snowflake. He needs to be the X-Force guy.
Need to be a snowflake.
Dizzard, what would you do if everyone started playing X-Force? What would you do if like Bishop and Nightcrawler drop and they are like legitimate?
I would just start posting Bane
stuff.
memes everywhere.
Posting what?
I was
Bane memes.
Oh, I was born in the X-Force. What would you do if Bishop's an X-Force leader? And he's just better than
honestly, if Bishop is an X-Force leader, I would probably write an email to Schick and say, what the hell? Man. Because like, think about it. Like, how the hell would you make Bishop a leader when he's never canonically been a leader when Psylocke led the team
I'm
for
not
10
saying
years?
it's a good idea. I'm just saying it'd be very funny.
No, it'd be funny for people to laugh at my like disgruntledness.
Exactly.
But it's ridiculous because like if Bishop was a leader, like I don't think he's ever been a leader for X-Force, and Psylocke was literally a leader for 10+ years in the comics. Yes. Like, yeah, I actually just was talking about this in the X-Force fan server about like how ridiculous it would be if. And I was also kind of thinking like maybe this like X-Force is like one of those teams where, because I think it was like last year or something. AMG had mentioned that there are some teams that aren't going to get a second leader. There's going to be one leader.
Oh, they said that?
Yeah, they said like a year ago.
Why would they say that's so mean?
They said that because they just said some teams like aren't designed to like
to have a second leader.
And people were like, well, X-Force and Wakanda, like,
if there's any team where that should be the truth, it's probably Avengers, because you can't give that many characters a new toy.
Rip Winter Guard. Well, that's another thing too. Like Winter Guard's another good example of that. Like, how are you going to put another leader for Winter Guard? Like another Red Guardian?
Yeah. How do you fix that affiliation? Right.
Yeah.
Chernobog.
Chernobog. Yeah, the character's been in season 1. Dude, everyone talks about Chernobog and like the evil vision. Like they weren't literally in one panel in the 2018 Avengers. Like they weren't not real characters, right?
Like they just got like the splash. They got the splash page treatment where it's
literally
like, Chernobog.
Yeah, it's not no. Evil vision. What do you mean? No, this is like War Machine. I mean, this is yeah.
This is our android.
Yeah, this is the robot Russian guy.
All right, so let's get back onto like the Adepticon game. I feel like
I haven't watched it yet. Disclaimer.
I haven't watched it yet either. But I do feel. I feel
watch
like
it real time. Do a live commentary.
The fact that it was like Malekith versus Thanos is like just speaking to like the power level that Malekith still is on. And
he's still insanely good.
Yeah, those that were saying that like him being fixed by the small nerf that he had fixes him. I still think Malekith is something you absolutely need to plan for. And obviously,
that's why
Cat Dog. Nowhere.
Yeah, that's why Cat Dog is good, because if people aren't ready for it, he does just dumpster you.
Yeah.
Just gear checking people. Yeah,
exactly.
And if everyone's like, "Oh, Malekith's gone," and you don't have to worry about these, early game super aggressive Malekiths anymore, and then it's like, "Hey, what if I brought an early game super aggressive Malekith? What would you do?"
Yeah, the only character who's more than like 5-threat, who I think you don't have to like, I don't know, you don't really need to plan for Buster, but like you need to plan for Hulk, you need to plan for, not really Magneto either. But you need a plan for Malekith, you need a plan for Immortal, you need a plan for Thanos. Yeah. You don't need to plan for Dormammu. But yeah, like any of the big, like the truly big boys, you do need to plan for.
You got to know what you're doing. You got to know, like what did you bring in roster construction to answer this, and what are you going to bring in a given game for it? And I mean, these are just. So I guess the point I was trying to get to kind of roundaboutly before was like, these are models that like everybody is like, oh, these models are busted stuff, but at the same time, it's like, well, these are also really good players. This was a really fun, dice game to watch these guys just like roll buckets of dice at each other and see what happens.
Dude, big numbers are cool for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I don't look at it and go like, oh, the game's super unbalanced. Like, I don't know about this. But I'm also a Thanos fanboy. So
yeah, and it's like
fine.
at the same time, if you want to watch a game where it's two different teams of like 10 little guys battling it out,
Yeah.
there are games for that. Like you can go play one of the various kinds of Warhammer or whatever. But this is a Marvel game where we have the ability to play 3 wide, and that's cool. That should be able to be a thing.
The thing about this game is this whole event, as a spectator watching from the outside, the things that stand out to me are way less Thanos and Malekith top table, and way more where did the Crims disappear? X-Men knock each other out, and not X-Men both get knocked out in the top 4. We could have had an X-Men versus X-Men final. Those games look pretty close too, so far as at least one of those scores was concerned. So like that's how close all of this was. So I don't look at this and go like, oh, Thanos-a-kith. Like, oh no,
Thanos-a-kith.
busted. This is the end of the world. Like I look at this and it's like, good players playing good models, beat out a bunch of other good players. But we could have had a completely different top 8, depending on how that 4th round goes, and we could have had a completely different final game.
I liked the spread for top 8. Like the top 8 felt like pretty good.
This felt more weighted than like the LVO top 8 and the York top 8. Like when you just look at those results, like this was like what, 3 Guardians, 2 Malekith Cabals.
See, the
with
Guardians
Hydra
fans
support.
are all non-Americans apparently.
2 X-Men and a foes. Like this felt like a lot more concentrated.
Dude, I think like at the end of day 2, there were like 3 different foes players who were all like doing super well. They were all undefeated. It was insane.
Yeah.
Foes is like they do have a lot of good tech. I won't lie. Like foes are pretty cool.
Those are fun.
Traps is a cool card, especially at like high level because people just don't trigger it, and you're basically playing a point down the whole game, which is cool. You're forcing like an attrition scenario with an attrition team. Yay! No one else can do that. Anyway,
All right.
my
So
foes are cool, man.
those are our read. That's our read on Adepticon.
Well, I wanted to like pull this up, and it's like we had, well, not all the plays are posted there, but I just wanted to look at like the spread of actual what was in the top cut. You had like Hydra Cabal, foes, Guardians, X-Men, Cabal, and then one I don't know. But it's just really cool to see that like it's like Avengers wasn't in the top cut. Like to me, that's kind of like.
So Avengers are pretty light in the event.
Avengers Dark Horse. Avengers need more. They need more characters, dude.
I'm like I don't know, like for the past since the game came out,
they've been very popular for sure.
Yeah, so it's like it's nice to see a top 8 that wasn't just like filled with Avengers.
Yeah, and like Hydra's Shield being top table at LVO is also really cool, right? Like we were finally at the point we're like what 3 years into this game's life cycle, 4 years, I don't know. I was hoping one of you correct me so I could actually know that information.
3.
But 3? Cool, thank you. We have
we're on the 3rd year.
We have so many viable teams.
No, we're on the 4th
year. You can play basically. You can play almost any team and do very well.
3.5 years. We're working towards the 4th.
Yeah. And there's no way we're getting Fantastic Four for year 4 because we just got all these cool announcements. So sorry.
Yeah, like I feel like if they were doing Fantastic Four,
it's just not. It's not happening.
But here's no. Okay, so tinfoil hat.
The 4th year reveal.
No.
It'll be next Adepticon reveal.
Tinfoil hat. Like we get what MODOK and Hulk next month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the one after that's probably Gwenpool and Squirrel Girl.
Oh, for sure it is. Yeah.
Okay, and then what's after that?
One of the 80 different things I just revealed.
They only showed like 6 boxes worth.
Oh, yeah. Only 6? Jeez.
And 2 per month. That's 3 months.
Yeah, so
that is really.
It's got to be a Rivals panel, right? that Wakanda
So like,
box.
but here's the thing though, is like they only showed like a quarter's worth of product, so that means we're still missing a quarter, especially if they said that Bishop and Nightcrawler is not going to be till 2024. So
They
that means
said-
that
ooh.
so that box is pushed. So there is still space for Fantastic Four to be the 4th year anniversary.
That's entirely possible.
It
But,
absolutely
you know,
is. Cause
it's funny
we're-
to say that it's not.
It is funny to say that because I'm keeping my tinfoil hat that Fantastic Four will be the 4th year because I totally see AMG as being like, this is funny.
It is funny. It'd be a funny thing to do.
Yeah, so it's very much like I could totally see it still happening. Let's move on to.
I would love to see Reed Richards have like a super have a flexible threat value and
He's
benefit
stretchy.
you for playing.
Because he's
for,
flexible.
For,
You
for
imagine-
playing,
okay.
for playing 4 wide basically to play the
Okay,
Fantastic
so-
Four. So like he
so-
just flexes in at whatever points you need.
So that's like part of the leadership. Like, if you were playing just the Fantastic Four, like but how could you balance that? 'Cause, like his
Well, he
card-
could have like,
for every threat you're playing down, like you roll a bonus die or something.
or he could have like some different gadgets with him depending on like what threat you're playing. at.
or you have
you
a
go.
small base, medium base, and a large base. Reed Richards, and a card that goes with each one being 3 threat, 4 threat, 5.
Or you
threat.
just
There we
like
go.
you just have some like quote unquote gear for him that's basically the Infinity Stones. Because Richards just as a stretchy guy is a lot less scary than Richards as like a I can end the world with my brain guy.
That's fair. All right, let's go ahead and get off of this and let's move into the main topic of what we want to talk about tonight. Sam,
Was it not
Iteration
about
and
Gwenpool?
roster building. When you're
No, it's
building
not.
when
Adepticon's
you're building a roster and you kind of know what you want to play, but you're not sure about all of it. And so you start swapping things in and out. Kind of just talking about what your personal process is with that. What are your triggers for swapping something in, swapping something out? What are you trying to
With
go
so
for?
many options today, it has really become like, am I playing this, right? Like when am I bringing this in? Is there a time when I'm reaching for this over like my core stuff?
or just play Winter Guard. Apparently, Ben says if you don't know what to play, just play Winter Guard.
That's a take. That is a take.
That is a take. Yeah. Absolutely. So, okay. Dizzard, you've been accused of
Yeah.
putting every new model into X-Force. So is that what you do?
I don't.
Is that your
deny it.
iterative process? Are you like, okay, there's a new model out, I'm going to iterate this model in.
I have
and
actually
see what happens
gone
here.
like after like that was called out on that. I had to like think back on it. I'm pretty sure I've actually gone on the record on Omnis's podcast, and he asked me like, when a new model comes out, what do you do? And I said, like, do you try the affiliation first? I said, no, I actually
put it in X-Force.
X-Force. And like, and if it doesn't jam, then it doesn't jam. Or I look at the character card and I'm like, there's no way this works or is better than what I'm currently doing. Then I don't even bother. Which happens a lot of the times, more often than not, where I'm like, this character doesn't really fit what I want to do. Then,
Not for me, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm really glad I came back to this mindset of like X-Force all the way. It helps.
Yeah, man.
like,
Character loyalist is like the best way to play for me.
yeah, like find your affiliation that you love and stick with it. But I actually do. Like the Squirrel Girl and Gwenpool, I'll be looking at their cards and being like, does this actually fit what I want to do? Is it going to make anything better than what I'm doing already? If not, I'm not going to really care about it. I'll learn about the characters and I'll play them somewhere just to see like their play patterns, but I'm not going to like put it in my main list. And then like, let's say Bishop rules come out and I'm like, okay, let's say he's a 4 threat and he might just like edge out Emma and Hellfire Club option for me, and I go mono.
Lots of people edge out Emma, I've heard.
That's,
Also, I just want to say, Gwenpool is she's 1 less health on both sides than Ulik. People are gonna be really surprised at how tough that girl is.
that's fair. I haven't looked too hard at the cards yet to see what they're actually doing.
She's got damage immunity. She's so good.
She does,
I
yeah.
love that. She's got plot armor. I just read her series, so I'm on like the highest I've ever been on Gwenpool.
If she had a way to get more power, she might actually replace Bill.
You're
Wow.
insane. That's
That's-
not true. Size 4 throw. I'm just gonna play them both.
That's why I don't have room for that.
I think she gets power pretty well in Guardians, where I can feed her rerolls before she can pay for her own.
That's fair.
She also has a gainer, and then if she's an
But
Avenger,
it's also,
she can do that web swing turn 1 and gain 2 power.
Like where I look at it is like another self-sufficient character.
That's fair.
And I really like putting self-sufficient characters on my list because Psylocke, Logan, I'm not reliant on like synergies really.
Well, that's interesting. I never really thought about X-Force, but I mean, they are like the special forces.
The Lone Wolves.
So
the Black Ops
so it's
team. And
like
so they,
like X-23 is super self-reliant. Logan, Logan's not affiliated, but
he's
like,
too good to pass up.
Yeah. So it's like Logan's super self-reliant. Psylocke is super self-reliant. Cable is super self-reliant in the fact that he just like either does stuff or
he's
doesn't
gonna do his
stuff.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's I think that's the best thing about Cable is he's either gonna like blow your mind and how good his turn was, or you're not gonna be disappointed. Or he's gonna blow your mind because of how disappointed you are with what happened.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's very much what to expect from a Cable turn. He's gonna shoot twice and probably throw something. And maybe body slide and pick up something. That's a typical, which is actually really, when you think about it, it's actually a really good turn. If I'm going to shoot twice and throw something and score VPs, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
but
Hawkeye's
the issue
really good
is, the issue with it is he's probably whiffed both of his attacks, and then the person
he's
dodged
someone and done 8 damage,
and then the person dodged all the damage, and then you've done a total of 2 damage across the turn.
or
but you're still scoring a VP. Yeah, so
you're still scoring a VP until someone comes over and kills you because you spent all your power on throwing.
God, this sounds like last night's game.
No, dude, Cable's he's in a rough spot. I love Cable.
No, like literally happened in our game last night. Cable shot twice, but completely whiffed, threw something, completely dodged it, and then one shot him and moved on to his point. Like I was just like, cool.
That's live.
But that's when you really look at like what I do with X-Force is it like creates very self-reliant little, I guess, flanks of like little squads. Self-reliant squads, I guess is the best way to put it.
Sure.
Like Logan runs one flank by himself, and then I have like 23 and Psylocke running on the other side, or Domino. But yeah, it's honestly, when you really look at it, like everything's very self-reliant. They're not really banking on somebody else being there.
You're bringing models in and you're kind of giving them a test about whether or not they can be another self-reliant.
Oh yeah, back to the subject.
You don't have to. So if you're bringing it in and you're checking it, right? And you're like, okay, this model's self-reliant, or it is,
or even
it fills
tactics.
Right.
Or we talked about like last night. Somebody brought up, hey, I'm really liking Deadpool again. I'm like, cool, I'll put him in the list. Hey, Jonathan's been doing really good work for me again. I'm like, cool, I'll swap out Brace and R&D.
Don't. Why do you take Brace out of your list ever? I don't understand.
Don't worry about it. Don't interrupt me.
Okay, I won't. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's completely reasonable. But no, like I get to a point where it's like when you really think about Brace, like Brace saves you from one throw the entire game.
Yes,
it saves you from one point of
the size 4 throw. Yeah.
Yes, but when you look at R&D, if you can actually value R&D to be 6 VPs over the course of a game, that is almost more value than Brace.
Okay, so R&D turning on something like a Malekith Ferocity turn 1 after being lockjaw teleported up, right? Like that's it is undeniably strong, but it is so dicey because like in most
it's just 7
cases,
dice, right?
Yeah, it's just 7 dice.
But in X-Force, if I'm taking
uncomfortable
Jonathan with R&D, most matchups that Jonathan token is going to be scoring me 4 to 6 VPs.
Not last night.
Doesn't Cable want to sit on that back point too?
No, Cable wants to be midline.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
Cable is not I don't know why. Like people see range 5 and just think he wants to be utilizing his throw. If you aren't utilizing Cable's throw every single round, you are not getting an efficient Cable.
Good to know.
Yeah, like if you're playing Cable and you're not playing him midline to where he's able to throw every single round, you're losing value on that character, and that's why he sucks.
So it's my fault. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. No, it really is. To be blunt. like I truly think that if you are not throwing every single round with Cable, like you are missing out on value.
So that's the kind of like you don't get that from just putting Cable on the table once or twice and being like, this character sucks.
12,000 reps with the character like this.
But
the issue is like you see, oh, this dude's got a range 5. He isn't the tankiest character, but like you think about what his kid is doing. He has a medium throw, which is roughly the same size as the range 3. Yep. He has a range 3 shield. Yep. So it's like he wants to be center line to where he can like defend his people and be able to throw something every single round. The range 5 on the gun is just to give him something to do round 1.
Yeah, it's also so they can't run away, right?
Yeah, except for Black Hat, which is stupid.
Well, that's what you take Mark for death.
And I mean, cat and mouse. The range 5 is really good with cat and mouse play. Like,
so it's like I think the range 5 on Cable is really just to like get him into the game and start his power build early if it pops off. Mm-hmm. But I think his like true positioning in the game is supposed to be like midline, like in that second quarter, not in like not. I think we really divide the map into quarters. So the first quarter is like up to your home point on a D. Okay. Cable wants to be in that second quarter area, so between the halfway point and the front half of a D.
Interesting.
I think that's where Cable's like happy spot is. And if you remember Sam last night, that's pretty much where he was the entire game.
He was, until he wasn't.
Yeah, until he wasn't, because he. Also, if anybody ever has issues playing into Logan, just take Thanos and literally make him do nothing the entire game.
So Logan doesn't get to play the game. Like he gets the double go that way, and
that is why Thanos is both toxic and like that's why he's always going to be good. Is because he can just say one character does not get to play. If that's something that if that is like what you need Thanos to do, he can do it.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the subject at hand here. Like people will bring up ideas to me and they're like, hey, what do you think about this in X-Force? Okay, I'll give it a shot again. Because I've tried R&D and Jonathan in the past and I really loved it and I missed playing it because I thought it was really good. But then they restricted R&D and that made it really like I typically like to give it
Jonathan effect seems like a lot.
It is, especially when you're like going into round 1 with only 1 card left for the entire game, and that's exceptional. It's kind of weird. So my way of thinking is like, where did the value go? Where how much value did I actually get? And then 9 times out of 10, I just end up going back to the list was before I made the changes, which is exactly what happened last night.
Okay, so that's that's an iteration. You worked through everything. You said, I'm not using this, I'm not doing that, and then made some changes,
I guess
change
the
back.
good thing is I have the reps and I guess experience that I've already done this with pretty much every single character because I tried literally everything under the sun for X-Force.
And as they come out, you're throwing them in there. You're like,
so it's like if anybody like has an idea of, hey, how do you think of this in X-Force, just ask me because I've probably done it. Granted, things changed, but then I also, once the characters updated and changed, I ran that through the gauntlet and been like, does this actually work? No. Okay, next, move on. I play a lot of X-Force games, if anybody did not know.
You don't say.
Okay.
But honestly, I do think my current Thanos and X-Force was actually the clapback list, and it was actually really, really good.
Of course,
because you were, well, yeah, but like Thanos and X-Force it's okay if you're playing leaderless most of the time.
It's hard. Fitting in an 8-threat character with a 5-threat leader
I'd even tried Thanos as a 7, like single gem Thanos.
Still a tall ask.
It still was
pretty
rough.
good,
It was okay though, but the issue is you don't have enough oomph to like because if you're going 3 to 4 wide and you don't have enough for scenario, and then you also don't have enough killing power even with Thanos there, or control even with Thanos there. It's not enough. Versus something like Corvus, who's a murder machine, Thanos and Proxima, you can run that 3 wide because you have mobile, you have extract, you have kill, you have control, and it's all.
I wonder if
it's all
trying to play
package.
that Red Skull guy with Thanos. That's probably pretty good.
He is. It is. Yeah, it's actually really good. But I guess what I'm getting at here is it's like I do think at one point in time Thanos and X-Force was actually really, really good. Mm-hmm. But I was also playing the clapback list where it was like I was getting 2 to 3 attacks over the course of it. Actually, no, there was 1 for seeing red, 2 for Ronan, and then probably 1 from Sabretooth every single round, if not every other round. So that's like 5 or 6 attacks on my opponent's turn, which I can Death Decree and X-Force reroll. So the value is just absolutely there.
Golly.
But without seeing red, like some of that value is gone. And it's harder to run, and as well it's such a meta dependent list. Like if I run into opponents that are like, if I play into webs, that list just dies because I can't keep up on scores and they're not killing me to where I'm clapping back. So like the issue that I had with the clapback list with Thanos is it really put me into a corner of only one play style versus now with Hellfire Club, I feel like I have my X-Force matchups right where I want them. And every bad matchup, like let's say I go into webs, instead of having Mark for Death, I just go Hellfire Club and match them for character to character. And my characters are arguably just as mobile as webs. Logan, Psylocke, 23, Skull with a Grunt, and Emma. Like that's like insane.
You have Red Skull on your list now?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, but I really like pretty much if I go Hellfire Club, it's going to be like Emma, Skull, Logan / Psylocke, or both. And that's like where it starts.
I've been having a lot of fun with nothing but 2 threats and Emma Frost.
I think it's cool, but it's just not me. I don't like playing that wide.
No, it doesn't feel good. It feels gross. It's just like if your opponent's not playing a kill team, like if they're playing webs or like CS, they have a really hard time into because they just get out activated hardcore.
Which is what they're typically used to doing. Is they're used to out activating you or out like scoring you because of that. Yeah. But that's, anyways, to wrap this back around is like I literally try every single thing in like my baby essentially. Like I literally do everything I can to make X-Force tick. I've tried every unaffiliated tactic card. I've tried every character card at least once or twice. Give it a couple games. If it doesn't work, it comes out. If I throw something new in there, I'm going to typically give it 3 to 5 games. If it doesn't get played, it just comes out and goes back to what it used to be because I knew that worked. And that's typically like my play style is I will give it a run for its money, which is again, it's like 3 to 5 games. If it doesn't come out for that time frame, then obviously it's not needed, and I try to find something else that is needed.
All right. Hyper Viper, you build around a character, so far as I can tell.
Yeah, most
reasonably.
of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm
what's the
like,
approach there?
Yeah, part of why I play this game is because I have favorite characters, right? So like, I would say the least I've ever done this is like my Hulk Avengers list, because you don't always need to play Hulk. He just happens to be one of the best Avengers. But recently, yeah, it's been Bill. So for me, it is like, okay, where's this guy affiliated? Oh, he's affiliated in Guardians and Asgard. Okay, I haven't played Thor in a while. Let's get Thor a shot. Also because like I know Guardians are like very popular, and I am also a snowflake. And then I did that, and now I'm like, okay, let's try the Guardians thing out. And I was like, oh man, like Odin's once per game is cool, but Bill with rerolls, especially like Bill with defensive rerolls, is just like, how do you kill this man? He's so good.
You don't.
Yeah, you literally don't. I actually I've been having a great time like figuring out like I won't say like the skill level, but like how used people are playing against Bill. Because yes, he only has 11 health, but he will make you work for that health harder than anyone else in the entire game. He's so good at making it like just not attractive at all to attack him. So yeah, I've been enjoying that.
So what do you want to bring with someone that's that much of like either a damage sponge or just ignored? And I feel like Hulk's a similar character.
Yeah, you want to bring damage. So like they have a hard time ignoring you, but they also if they ignore you and like go for your other people, like yeah, Bill doesn't do a ton of damage, but Bill can still hit really hard, right?
Right.
He has great tech into like more than half the like entire roster of characters with his like flyer killer or his big boy killer, and rerolls aid that immensely. And he has a size 4 throw. Size 4 buildings hurt a lot. But what I add is just like, since he's such a good like in your face guy, having backup is really good. So like in Asgard, it was Pyro and Winter Soldier were backing up Bill a lot. Like he would be up front and they'd be in the back plugging away at you and statusing you up and setting you on fire and blah blah blah. Like setting up Bill for success. In whatever I'm playing now, Guardians, it is like, well, I have Bill in your face, which you kind of can't deal with, and then if you get anywhere near him, I'm going to shoot you to death with my 14 different guys with guns. So that's been working out for me. Like, so I have my front line. I need support. Like, I don't know if support's like the right word, but like No, or air support's the right word. But like just like dudes in the back with range. And then healing would be nice, but sometimes you can't really fit a Wong in, which is super sad. Yeah. And it's also fun to have someone who can dive with him, right? Because if you dive with just one person, like if you ever played a MOBA, just having just your warrior dive or just your tank dive, that guy's probably just going to die. But if you have them dive with someone who's really good offensively or also really tough and has like crowd control, it can be really good. So like sometimes I'll have Groot dive in with him and have just another big target. If you don't kill Groot, he's going to stagger somebody because he's got that 5 power. He's going to root a whole bunch of people or just be genuinely annoying. And you have to one round Groot, otherwise he's going to be fine. So that can be really fun. Another fun one is Nebula. Nebula and Bill are probably my favorite Guardians to play because Nebula just embraces that like I'm going to kill you, and I focus on nothing else. Playstyle in Marvel, like it's almost the opposite of Shadowlands Daredevil. Like Shadowlands forces you to play good Marvel. Nebula's like, if you don't want to play good Marvel, that's kind of cool, bro. Let's just go fuck some people up. Yeah, I got you. Let's just go kill everything. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so I guess how does iteration play into your build though, and like do you swap stuff out, or is it pretty much you've been pretty much locked in the entire time? And
well, there are certain things that are locked in, right? But then I see like what I can do better. Like I was saying earlier, I was having trouble into like really tall matchups with Guardians because they would just kill the characters that were threatening them, and then the rest of my team was like, well, I can't kill you. So I swapped in Malekith. I'm thinking about swapping in Thanos now, but I also just got a physical Malekith and I want to paint him, so we will see how that goes. But yeah, having the tall option was really important, and that was something I learned as playing it. Like, oh, it'd be cool if I could go tall with this list, and I only had like my highest threat character was Bill at that point in time. I was going wide every game, and wide is really good, but there are times when you want to be able to go tall and like have priority and keep priority, especially playing a follow me team. I've also I have newfound respect for Agent Venom. Because his card is actually pretty solid, and Guardians do have trouble with like X-Men with the auto cover, and he does ignore that. I've also been thinking like, even though I love Nebula and I love Rocket, I've been looking at Bullseye recently, being like, damn, this guy is fucking insane. How do I fit Bullseye in my list? So yeah, there's definitely iterations. It's like what I feel like would like when I was talking about earlier, how I swap out characters. Like, am I ever actually playing this character? If no, maybe there's a better option. No one in my list really screams that to me right now, but that might change. Like, let me pull up my Guardians list, actually, so I can talk through this.
I think tactics cards is where I think
that one's really hard, yeah.
That's one of the hardest spots to do iteration, because it's really easy to get locked into, I bring this character, I bring this character card. I bring these 2 restricted list cards. I bring, one of 3 like really good unaffiliated cards, and then like 1 or 2 more. And it's almost always the same hand, or it's like at least 3 or 4 are the same in almost every game. And then you've got like 1 or 2 spots. So it can be really hard to work in those like silver bullet tactics cards. And so just like knowing when to cut one of those is really hard for me. And I tend to look at it and it's like, okay, like if I haven't looked at it in 5 games, if I haven't even looked in its direction, it's like, do I need this? Have I been playing like, the same people, the same person, the same types of rosters, the same setups? Have I won priority every time and I keep playing on my secure, so it just hasn't come up? Or like in what cases do I want to bring this? And have I gotten into one of those cases and then decided to leave it at home for one reason or another? But man, I don't know. I don't know how long to keep a tactics card in my roster.
Yeah, I'm looking at my tactics right now. And this has been like probably the hardest part of my roster to build. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different character cards. I have my 2 restricted cards. I have my 1 affiliation card. And then I have Eyes on the Prize, which is basically a build card, and Fallback, which is yeah.
My question, I think something that really needs to be brought up in this though is like restricted cards themselves. So I think more and more as this game is progressing, I think this is kind of a design thing that they might be headed towards, is really making you question: do I really need restricted cards? Like, yeah, they're good, but it's like,
well, I mean, Pat just won without them.
Yeah, but he's taking Thanos, so he has restricted slots.
Yeah, but he shouldn't. Anyway, moving on.
But But that's like, I think this is something that is probably a tunnel vision for players. Is I need 2 restricted cards in my building. And I think that there was a while where I didn't play with any restricted cards just to like see how it felt. And I there's still a lot of games where I'm only playing with 1 restricted card, if any.
I mean, I too have played Black Order, so I know exactly what it's like to not bring restricted cards with you. And they are noticeably more powerful in a lot of cases, but it's like the benefit that you get from them isn't always more beneficial than it could be with something else.
But let's talk about like our game last night. I didn't take any restrict cards. I didn't feel like I needed Brace. I didn't need Sacrifice, really. I probably could have used it, but
patch up.
But
yeah, it depends on the team you're fighting for sure, right? Like, Brace is not essential if they don't have throws, obviously.
But it's also like I would have like we talked about this too. Like I would have much rather had like Crimson Dawn. Like I was asking for Crimson Dawn more so than I was a restricted card, which I think is good design for the game, and it's a good space for the game to be. But
I thought it was hilarious because like I didn't realize you didn't bring Crimson Dawn until like turn 3, and then I was like, whoa, hold up a second. Like I'm so much less afraid of Psylocke now.
Like I honestly like playing that game last night made me like really come to a conclusion that I was right in the first place, and Crimson Dawn is like stable to her.
Wait, so that's the one where she like gets healing factor and she's a bump after every attack, right? Sell me on that card. Why is it so crazy?
Because it incentivizes your opponent not to attack her, which means she's going to do whatever she wants anyways. And if they do attack her, they're just going to get punished for it and feel like they're not doing anything because now she has exceptional healing and healing egg and a bump.
But that's like once she's flipped, right? So they don't even want her to flip.
So they don't even want her to flip. But the issue is Psylocke is very much like Malekith, or
she gets in your face.
Like she's gonna do whatever she wants to do regardless of what you do to her. Because she only needs 2 power to do anything that she wants to do. Because she's going to hit you for a 7-die builder, and now she's generating power. Like, the only thing that's going to hurt her is if you stun her and then leave her alone. It's like Mystique spender into her, or Psylocke spender into her, and then you just like leave her alone.
Spider-Woman,
but that's the thing though, is like if you have one of those tools to where you can just stun her and leave her alone, sure. But most lists don't like, and most opponents really don't think like that. They think like either I have to kill Psylocke because she's gonna be annoying, or I need to just leave her alone. But that's the thing, that she's just like, she does what she wants to do regardless. So having Crimson Dawn, like even if I don't get to play Crimson Dawn because my opponent didn't attack her, I am 100% okay with that card taking that slot, because that means my opponent didn't really want to like risk making Psylocke better. My only thing with Crimson Dawn is the fact if you for some reason miss your window to play it, that is where it's terrible.
You just can't play it.
Yeah, because if you don't play it when she flips, you don't have another window to play it.
Yeah, that's like Blood Despair. Like, when you bring Blood Despair, you're bringing it usually for like one character in your roster. Like this person is going to be in danger enough. You're going to play Blood Despair when they daze, and if you forget that, you're just like,
this is bad now. Yeah,
but it's like
wasted a tactics card slot.
Yeah,
but a lot of the times though, like I've never been in a spot where Psylocke was dazed where she didn't have 3 power on it. And again, like I think stun. I think this is why stun is like Psylocke's biggest weakness, is because stun can really ruin that plan.
You could stop her from playing it, or like voodoo her,
gaining the power. So it's very much like if you have a way to stop her from having 3 power when she dazes, that's when you kill her to shut off the card. But like the good thing about the card is like she essentially gets. Like, she becomes insanely mobile. Like, you activate, you range 1 place. You do an action, range 1 place. You do another action, range 1 place. So now you have the ability, if she has 2 power on her...
Wait, so she attacks as well?
Any action.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can literally... You activate Psylocke, range 1 place, do a medium move, range 1 place, do a medium move, range 1 place, spend 2 power to get a short move. That's a lot of mobility.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like that card like has won me games from being able to shoot her across the map and pick up an extract. Like if I had it last night and like she was like 100 days side, she could have easily grabbed one of those extracts and gone away to safety and been fine.
If only.
Or just lived. and then like also the fact that like you give her healing factor now. So
yeah, she has exceptional.
And that so she has access to exceptional. Like I honestly think that card is like
that card's insane for sure.
It's really good. And a lot of people say like they don't like it because of the fact that you're putting a lot of agency in your opponent's hands, or it's just a dead card. Well, again, like if the card's dead because my opponent didn't
if you're not forcing exceptional, like that's good. That means they're not attacking your guys.
That's up there with deception in my opinion. Like you're like, oh, I didn't get to play my deception. That means my opponent played around it the entire game, which meant that this card sitting in my hand just dictated strategy.
Yep.
All game long. That's huge.
Yep. It's more of a mind game.
Yeah. I messed with your agency by bringing this card.
Yeah, and I think that's where people need to look at Crimson Dawn is that in that space of like, what is it doing to your opponent's play patterns? Like, if you didn't play it, you more than likely meant that they never attacked Psylocke, or if they did, it was like in a super moment that they just had to.
It's like it's the Loki effect, right? Where it's just like I didn't notice what Loki did, but golly, you sure did
for sure. Yeah, I love Loki.
Yeah, and that's why I think Crimson Dawn is great. Plus, Psylocke is both great in X-Force and Hellfire Club.
Okay,
and X-Men.
And X-Men.
Talking about tactics cards and you know just iterating on the roster. Do you pull out something different to put Crimson Dawn in? Do you pull something else out, or do you pull out something that you swapped in for Crimson Dawn before? Right. So, like,
so we talk about roster creation or like squad building.
We're talking about roster creation, and I mean, and squad building to some extent, but like this is like specifically to roster creation because like you're between events between games.
So. Last night, it was very much like I wanted to fit Gotta Get Some Air in, and I wanted to fit something else. Oh, it was Jonathan. But so Brace for R&D, Jonathan for Fallback, I think it was. And
can the card pack please come out so I don't have to buy? I don't want to buy Hulkbuster. I really don't.
Just buy Craig a new one. Just buy Craig a new Hulkbuster and take the Fallback. He doesn't need it.
I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna borrow his card when I go to the whatever that Portland qualifier I signed up for in April. I'm just like, hey Craig, can I borrow Fallback?
He'll say, yeah, here, man.
And he will. That's why he's a good friend.
But so it's very much like same for same because I know, especially with my list specifically, I know which cards are like my staples. Like Cat and Mouse ain't going nowhere. Sacrifice is like the locked restricted card in my opinion. Okay, so. For X-Force specifically, Sacrifice is the locked restricted card if you're playing Honey Badger and or Sabretooth. If you're not playing either of those characters, you could probably not play Sacrifice. But if you're playing either of those characters in your list, you absolutely bring Sacrifice. So for me, Sacrifice is a lock, so there's two. No matter the cost, I'm kind of like... Sam and I kind of talk about this too, is like no matter the cost has gone down in value for me. Yeah. Because especially when I'm forcing a core of Cable, Logan, Psylocke, I don't need no matter the cost to do what I want to do.
Yeah, so that no longer X23 every game.
Yeah.
Rolling dice. Bringing a tactics card to roll dice is just not one of my favorite things to do in general.
Exceptional healing, that's like a staple. So that one just never comes out. Yeah. God, what else is in there? Pyrotechnics because I'm playing Pyro, so absolutely that stays. Because the few games I didn't bring Pyrotechnics in my roster, I absolutely missed it. And if I feel like that in a game, it's automatically a sign for me to like that card stays. Then especially after our conversation last week, I've really missed Gotta Get Some Air. So I've been like trying to find a way back in with that card, which I did recently. But it's very much like mostly same card for same card. Like if I swap out Crimson Dawn for Gotta Get Some Air, that's like the outlier because I found out that, okay, I want both of these cards. So now, okay, no matter the cost value went down for me. So no matter the cost can come out and now I get both the cards that I want. But it's all about weighing your values of what the cards have done for you in previous games and what you expect the value to be.
So I mean, we talked about the value from no matter the cost last night. We were just chatting about it, but like that's up there with like the advanced R&D Malekith stuff to me, where it's like there is a benefit to being that aggressive and to coming in that hard and that fast and just creating this like threat saturation early.
So we talk about no matter the cost, right? So like no matter the cost, what do you do with no matter the cost and like the X-Men / X-Force builds? You do 23 so that way she can like get on the center line and do a point. Right. Well, I don't need that anymore because I have Logan who could do that inherently, and I have Psylocke with Cat and Mouse who could do it inherently without no matter the cost. So now no matter the cost is literally just a non-factor in my list.
That's interesting. How often do you like reach for X-23 nowadays?
Way less than I used to.
She's still really good. She's just not like backbreaking. She's like the character anymore, right? You have Logan now.
No, it's Psylocke because
and Psylocke for sure.
You need the affiliated character. So it's very much depending on like what the threat value is, because like it's like I'm literally reaching for Cable, Logan, Psylocke anytime playing X-Force now. Like I don't even consider any other option almost.
13 core. What?
I mean, they are really good, right?
Well, it's like I literally have one flank middle. Like it's like, and then like whoever I'm adding in is just reinforcing one of the flanks. So then it's like 16, I take 23. 15, I take Badger. When does Pyro come in? Okay, Pyro is like the one exception where I don't play Cable, Logan, Psylocke. That's like Cable, Pyro, Psylocke at that point. But it's super like I know which matchups I'm doing that on. Or Logan doesn't come in, Bill comes in instead of Logan because Logan doesn't seem right for that matchup.
Who's all right? So, what's the closest you've got to a character who's like on the bubble for you right now? Like what's your one roster spot that you're just like
Domino,
Deadpool,
but the issue Domino or Deadpool, like that's the issue is that needs to be an affiliated slot because
all right.
If I want to play X-Force at 19 and I need to go, was it 6 wide? Then I have to have that be an affiliated X-Force member.
Does it need to be a 3-threat too? Or is it just
that's the only character I have open is a 3-threat. Because I can't be Sabretooth. It could actually be Sabretooth and that fixes 17 for me, but then 19 suffers. Unless I just take... I might actually look into that. Dropping that 3 character slot for Sabretooth and going back up to 5-4 threats. Let's do it. Because ever since I dropped Sabretooth, 17 has been like really, really weird. I'm kind of forced to always play Hellfire Club at 17. Because I don't have like a 17.
You don't want to do 4 or 3 4s and Cable.
Dizzard sucks at 17.
No, because that's actually a really bad note because Hellfire Club 17 is Emma, Logan, Psylocke, Red Skull. That's 17.
Yeah,
and I'm
terrible.
I'm still 5 plus a grunt that can secure. Like it's actually, and that's why I've been okay with not having Sabretooth because that's actually a really, really good 17. And if I don't feel like playing Logan because it's a bad matchup, I just play Bill, and that's still fine. But like Psylocke for me like makes every single game because she's never felt like she just didn't bring value. Where Logan at times can feel like he doesn't bring value, which is kind of funny. Because like if you can control like the issue with like Logan versus Psylocke is Psylocke with 2 power can mean she's like a range 5+ away and still be able to get you and hit you.
But like
Logan,
hit you one time, right? Tell me
yeah.
Okay, good.
But the thing about that though is like Logan, let's say you double Thanos push him away, he now has to double move to get back in.
Yeah.
So like Logan's way easier to control than Psylocke is.
Something
also,
like
she
that.
has her Cybo, so like she could literally just like short move.
She could believe,
yeah. So she could like short move, go for the Cybo, and then because like this, I love the telekinetic combat enhancement because it's not an action, and it just says next like katana attack you do. So you can literally do the telekinetic enhancement to move short, and then you could Cybo somebody that's in range now, and then you could do your katana attack at 7 dice. Like gosh, I love her play pattern so much.
That's fine. She's neat. She seems like a really neat character.
God, this is really trying to do like a X-Force evaluate Dizzard's roster.
I mean,
we talked about this stuff. We talked about my Guardians.
Yeah, it's all frames of reference.
Okay. I just don't want to like.
And we talked about Thanos a lot. We like Thanos here.
Okay.
Rogue Agents liking Thanos. That's pretty lore.
Okay. Keep coming with the questions because you're making me think because I might actually consider dropping Dom for Sabretooth.
All right. So here's
wait,
here's
what?
The next one.
Domino? Come on, bro.
Okay, so like let me
Come
hear me out.
on,
Okay,
dude.
so here's the thing: is the only time Domino makes the list is when I'd be taking 23, but 23 doesn't feel right. So it's like it's either 23 or Domino. It's very rarely going to be both, and that's only at 19 if I'm not taking Bill, which is really weird. Because Bill should be at 19 because it's probably demons.
Right, because then you're like playing on virus.
Yeah, or demons.
Intrusions.
or demons. So it's like
if you're playing on demons, you're bringing Bill. Come on.
Yeah. Or I regret not bringing him, and I'm playing against Sam.
I instill bad decisions and terrible.
But anyways,
what I bring to the
so
table.
it's like Domino really only comes out when 23 feels bad, or if I would need to bring both 23 and Domino. So it's like there's argument to drop either 23 or Domino, which 23 just generally has more value than Domino, to bring in Sabretooth, so that way I fix the X-Force 17 and I have more options. But then I'm like, this feels really weird because I have 5 4 threats in my list now.
Okay,
5 4 threats, 5 4 threats, 2 5s, a 2 and a 3, like, or 2 2, 1 2 and 2 3s.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
It's like completely backwards and it hurts my brain.
It's different. It's new.
I don't like it.
So I mean, all right, this is a good segue into like the next like kind of question that I had about iterative roster building, right? Which is, what do you do when the meta changes? What do you do when you're like thinking about approaching an event? You're like, okay, I think this is going to be the meta for this event. So I want to have these tools in place.
That's where like this is where I think people who have been playing the game since it came out have like a benefit, or at least since like the character updates, because they have an idea of what these characters do. Versus people who are like brand new to the game and are just trying to like figure out what characters do. Me, having played every single character in X-Force, I know exactly what that character is going to add or take away from my game plan. And if I'm expecting the meta to look like this, I know what I need to bring. Like if it goes back to like an attrition heavy, I'm probably going to try and build clapback again.
Sure. That's like when Sam Spam is good, X-Force clapback is the route.
No, when Sam Spam is, I guess when Sam Spam is good, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah,
so
it's the same meta. It's the same. Like those are good
which
the same.
Arguably,
metas.
we're kind of there right now. Like there's a lot of attrition lists right now.
Oh yeah, I think there's more attrition in the game right now than there ever was before, right?
Yeah, which arguably clapback is good, but the issue with clapback right now is I really want to play Psylocke, and she doesn't really fit in that game plan.
Let's put a pin in this. Let's talk about attrition versus objective play right now, right? It's like what? Like the general consensus in the game has been like, you know, the pendulum swings between control and attrition as like the dominant approach in the game. Where if you lived through the Wakanda Wave era, then like you understand like how punishing good control can be. And if you played through the Black Order, you know, dominant era, then you understand how terrible attrition into control.
I'm gonna pause you real quick. I just realized something.
Yeah.
I feel like the control eras last longer than the attrition eras.
I don't know about that one. That doesn't sound incorrect. But also doesn't sound correct.
Black
I feel
Order,
like Sam
lasted a while.
Sam was Alana's, yeah.
Well, I just feel like Sam, like when attrition gets too good, Sam becomes incredibly popular, which kind of hedges against how popular attrition can be. You almost have to like dark horse with attrition to do well enough with it.
But that's also like where like I really like my X-Force into Sam because it's so mobile. Like I don't care about the leadership because I'm just gonna teleport to you anyways with pretty much every character I'm playing with.
That's a really interesting aspect of the game right now compared to like where it has been before. And
there's so many mobile characters.
That, like, works out. Yeah, like Rhino and Logan. You're just on them wherever they were. You're on them again or still.
Yeah, or you threw them towards wherever the model is that you just moved out of range, and now I'm like, it really closes up. Oh, it really closes some gaps. I do think a lot of the teleportation that's been added to the game makes Sam's leader. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. Makes Sam's leadership less dominant, I guess you could say, and maybe that's why we're not seeing so much Sam right now.
I mean, I think that Sam is not popular because Sam is not popular.
Well, Sam
just
is
like he
popular.
got like, so much like.
Well, it's also kind of like Wakanda Wave. Like Wakanda Wave was like so dominant for so long. People are like, I'm tired of playing this list. Like playing with it and against it. Like there are people who are like I'm just like I don't care if it's like the most like OP thing right now. I'm just not gonna play because it's so boring. I'm tired of playing it.
Well, like, okay, it's a different meta, but if we go back to like the Nova meta, right, where like the finals was like what, like Webs versus Sam Avengers.
Yeah.
Like it was basically like a dark horse Webs roster that showed up that no one like thought Webs were going to do any good, so nobody was going to play Webs. I didn't think any Webs were going to.
Hashtag punt mistake.
And then a Sam Avengers list, and so like they had to play like honest MCP to close out that game. You know, it had a bunch of basically underpowered characters trying to
tell you
control
what.
the board. And...
If you play X-Force, you're playing honest MCP.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not touching.
I don't know how honest. Yeah, you can just say it's like it's your thing, and that's cool. You just leave it there.
I mean, play what you love in this game. Like that's for sure. And then Bishop's going to come out and he's going to break your brain because he's going to be
he's going to break my heart.
You're not going to like him.
He's going to like honestly,
like every game.
Bishop's going to end up being X-Force affiliated, and he's going to be like Psylocke, where he's like, I have to take this character
play him every game.
Yeah.
You're going to be like,
But okay, but like
now
so,
I play
but
Bishop
like,
and Psylocke
back to like
game.
back to like metas though is like it's so hard to predict what the meta is going to be for an event. Because you can look at TTS results, you can look at LVO, you can look at Adepticon. You can look at Adepticon results and already know that, let's just say there was an event next weekend, like a big tournament next weekend. That meta is going to be drastically different from this meta for Adepticon because it's a miniatures game and people look for competitive edges. And they're not going to take what was good a week ago because that's stupid because obviously people are going to be gaming against it.
You build to beat the stuff that just won. You don't bring the stuff that just won.
Yeah. So for our roster of the week, beat Thanos Guardians.
but that's the crazy thing though is like if you look at like how dominant Pat has been with Thanos Guardians or just how Thanos Guardians have been in general.
Pat's just been dominant in general. He's been winning.
But it's not even just
Thanos
that.
Guardians.
Like there's other people that have been playing that list that just see like really good results. Like I think there's like 3 of those lists in the TTS like cuts right now.
But most of the Guardians players are not playing Thanos. Like Barncat doesn't have Thanos on his list, and he's still top 8.
But
Guardians
it's
are
also,
in a good spot right now.
I agree with that.
Awesome.
3-threat leader, even
3-threat leader, baby. 3-threat leader with a really really fucking good leadership. Yeah.
But I think it really just comes down to like
cheap core.
Yeah.
I guess.
Multiple affiliated 2s, baby. Let's go.
I forgot where we're getting at with that, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like iterations of what you're planning for your list, it's very much like I do think that people have been in the game longer probably have an advantage when it comes to it because they know what stuff does and they know the play patterns for characters. Sure, an affiliation leadership might come out and that might change those play patterns slightly, but it's never going to change the core concept of a character because that would be absolutely bad game design from A&G. Like that makes no sense at all. So it's like if I have a character that was designed a year ago, a leadership that comes out tomorrow should not drastically change that character. Otherwise, AMG missed something in playtesting.
So is Hellfire
or they're trying to revitalize. Or they're trying to revitalize a character.
Or they're trying to revitalize a character. Yeah, I agree with that. But at that point, that character probably was underplayed anyways and not considered very good. But it typically, even when a character is made good because of a leadership, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I really can't think of one. It's very much like the character still has the same play patterns. You know what to expect from that character. Like it doesn't really change much.
So, I guess in that same kind of vein, like this might start off feeling like a total non sequitur, but like playing X-Men. When I play X-Men, I constantly catch myself positioning my model to be in cover, as though Storm's leadership did not grant them cover just for being outside of range.
That's just habit.
Yeah, because you're just like, I should probably post up right here because that seems like the good place to be. Yeah. And so there are things that you have to just you have to break habits. You have to do other things, differently depending on what affiliations you're playing and how you're doing it. So when a meta changes, I don't know how I'm going to tie these two things together because I think I lost my train of thought. But when a meta changes and you're trying to basically plan for the next meta, like, do you? It sounds like you're advocating for like an all comers approach with your approach, Dizzard, because you're like, I just want basically to have everything that's gonna, just let me play good MCP the way that I want to play it, and I'm gonna trust in that ability, basically of me to execute on the table with models that I understand. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say yes, because I think going towards an edge really opens yourself up way too much.
Well, once you get too far to an edge, you have to punt, which is definitely where I tend to push
But
myself.
I feel like that's where a lot of people in competitive lists go. Like, I don't think Guardians Thanos needs to punt. I don't think Malekith Cabal needs to punt. I don't think Sam Vengers needs to punt.
I define punt for us non-gamers over here.
I'm gonna lose this game anyways.
Oh.
So why am I gonna change half my roster to cover one matchup? I'm just gonna take that matchup as a loss.
It's a bad matchup where you don't really have a silver bullet for it, and so like you could bring something that's either untested or that you already know is like only actually like it's not a silver bullet. It's just like makes it a little bit better.
But a lot of times, typically what happens, especially in MCP, is if I'm going to adjust my list for what I'm punting for, I am probably changing too much my roster and losing out in my matchups that were like my for sure wins.
Yeah, like, be good at what you're good at instead of trying to be good at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. But like, I would say I still open my mind up to punts. Like, I'm still like I know this matchup's going to be hard. I'm not going to bring in special tech for it because it ruins my other matchups. I would rather have like an even chance into this game instead of like a 90% chance into like 30% of my games. So it's like weighing your punt of whether it's worth it or not. I don't think changing your core concept of the roster is worth punting, or it's worth like not giving up the punt, because this just happens. Like Web Wars is still like in that spot right now. I think a lot of people consider Webs to be in a really rough spot, and if they are playing Webs, it's like I think Webs are just in a rough spot at the moment.
So I would argue that a bunch of people punted to aggressive Mal at Adepticon.
Yeah,
they
to
probably
beat
just
Web
said,
specifically.
I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to see aggressive Mal, so I'm not going to bring the tech that I need to beat it. I'm going to focus on shoring up my Web Warriors.
But that's also the thing though too, is like aggressive Mal tech is the same as Thanos tech. Like it really is. And I've been saying this since Malekith came out. Like,
it's a little different. I mean, yeah, you need like a single target nuke for sure.
You just take
kill
like
him, right?
Take stagger and root, and
you just picked Pyro and Black Cat for sure.
Yeah, just take Pyro. Like just take Pyro. Like
no, I 100% agree. I was really surprised that like when I saw Malekith and Thanos on top table, I was like, wait, is no one playing Pyro? They're playing Cat Dog instead of Pyro. Like, what's going on here? But yeah.
But I think when it comes to punting, it's very much like you weigh out your options, and it's like, do I punt or do I change 20% of my roster? And more often than not, it's like I'm just gonna punt, and hope that the game and dice are my favor in that game if I get it, or you just accept it as a loss and you hope you get the top 8 anyways. Which
I mean, lucky and good on the same day. That's the key.
But if you have a miniatures game or any competitive thing in general, like you really should, like if you let's say have a 6-round event, like 5-1 is like good.
Yeah,
like you're fine. Like, and
great.
Hopefully that one you lost was your punt. Going 6-0 means that your list is probably OP or you got insanely lucky.
Or you're just good.
No, I honestly, like, I'm sure you could talk to Pat, and I'm sure he would say that there are some matchups
Pat's
he
super
has.
honest about that. Like, I've played Pat a bunch of times. He is just like, when he does well, he's like, yeah, no, that went well for me. He's not the type of guy who's like, no, I'm just insane. He's not just like, I'm the best player in the world. He's just like, oh no, like I did well today.
He did well,
honest
but
guy.
I've also heard him say I got really lucky in that game.
Yeah.
Like he is very honest about his results.
For sure.
But when it comes to like competitive mindset and all that stuff, is somebody who will get like hyper focused on the 6-0, that like they end up really like hurting their roster in a way. Like where I like my roster at is I feel like I have an answer and I have a game plan for every single crisis combination that could come up, into every single matchup that can come up. And I know it's not going to be the greatest in certain things, but I know it's playable. I'm just gonna have to play my heart out with that game and hope things work out for me. Versus like I know in over half of my games, I have a higher chance of winning. So like if you can design your list in a way that you have a win rate of like, let's just, even if it's like 56% into 90% of your games, like that's really, really good when it's come to a competitive environment. Because if I have a game that has a team that has above 60% win rate, you start to question the design. You start to question like, why is this happening? Because over 60% for a single team to have is not good for a competitive environment.
Well, I mean, like Malekith had like that level of win percentage on release.
Well, let's talk about Wakanda Wave. Wakanda Wave was at 67%, if I remember correctly, for like forever. Yeah. Like they were above 60%.
I mean, there was nothing to deal with them at the time, right? There's nothing you could do.
But like that's what I'm talking about though. You look at that, like how it felt to play into Wakanda Wave, and that's like it's very true to like that was above a 60% win rate. It felt bad for the game and it needed to get fixed, which AMG handled and they fixed it. And ever since then, we haven't really seen like a consistent like win rate other than Weapon X for some reason above 55%.
Weapon X is because like I think a lot of the top win percents on Longshanks right now are for affiliations that are uninteractive and stomp newer players.
I won't disagree with that at all, actually. Like, Weapon X is very much like,
it's
I'm going to
X,
aggro you
it's
to the ground.
X-Men, and it's Criminal Syndicate. It's just like stuff that you win by not interacting. And it's like what newer players do not know how to deal with at all.
Yeah, that's fair. But like,
I think Longshanks reporting games is just kind of dumb in general, but that's a whole other ball game.
I think it's interesting to look at because, like, in my opinion, Weapon X should not be like the top dog right now. Shouldn't. Like, then arguably, like, not arguably, but like,
they're not.
They're not
the top dog.
Objectively, they're not the top dog. I think Weapon X is fun.
Laughs
but
and though, for sure. Laughs and Thanos for sure.
Yeah, but it's like somebody else does the same thing but better, with the same characters even. Like, sure. But it very much comes down to when you think of competitive gaming, you don't want something to be at that like 55 plus. Otherwise, there's something wrong with the design in like a character or the leadership or whatever is making that edge so strong. Something is wrong. And we look at Wakanda Wave as like the prime example of this. Is there is no tools to deal with it. And I think as the game grows more and more and more, you really should start to see the win percentages of affiliations like being almost dead at 50% for a majority of affiliations, which that is true to like almost perfect game design.
See, and all that says to me is that you have to get lucky and good on the same day. You have to make the right decision in turn 0. You have to make the right decision in roster construction, for like what you brought to the event. Because to win that event, you've got to go basically 6-0. You've got to go 100%. You've got to go like 90.
No, you can go 5-1 and still win the whole entire thing.
Sure, but sure 5. Okay, 80%. Like 85%. Like
that's still
you need a much better than 55%.
But my thing that is to look at here though is like you look at any competitive. If you could have an interview with any person that's involved with sports or competition or anything like that, they'll narrow it down to probably 3 things: repetitions, luck, and like health.
Yeah,
like eating healthy, sleeping good, not showing up hungover to your event,
which
having
is honestly
the repetitions.
Very fun.
Yeah,
you should all do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I love it. We all love to hear about the tale of the dude that like he showed up hungover and won. He was drunk still from last night and won. He hasn't played in 6 months.
He just came in from the bar.
He had a baby 6 months ago, and his wife finally let him out of the house. Like he shows up and wins. Like everybody loves that story because we love those stories.
Yeah,
but like that is not the norm. If every event you go to is won by the hungover guy or the dude who's just like recently back from 6 months away, like
that's probably on you, bro. Yeah.
But I love that story because we love that story, but it's not normal.
I just truly think when it comes to like anything competitive, it very much comes down to those 3 factors. It's like, did you get enough sleep? Are you in the right mind state? How many reps did you get with the game? And then how lucky are you that day? Because if you just get like we were talking about Ghost Year, he got priority every single game with X-Men and got pretty much his secures every single game from what we looked at.
That's sick.
Like
and
like like you want that. Like I would consider that incredibly lucky, and then he got unlucky in the cuts. Like,
but like, have to be unlucky once, right? Like, what's that bounty hunter adage that you had before?
Shout out to Ghost here. That guy rules. Oh, the bounty hunter adage. Yeah. You have to, when you're on the run, you have to be lucky every single time. The guy trying to kill you just has to get lucky one time.
Yeah. But I think it's very much like the thing to come to it, and like when you look at, I think this is why you need to look at like cons and events and your tournaments and just playing the game in general, of coming back to why are you there? Why are you paying money to play this game? It's to have fun and have a hobby. It's like,
why did you fly from one continent to another?
Yeah. And it's like, if you like, and like, I think the fact that you have to like really, like, one of the factors of winning a major event is luck. Really, like, kind of comes down to like, you need to realize this in order to actually enjoy yourself and have fun at these events. Because if you're not going to realize that you need to have some luck to win these events, then you're probably going to be a salty poopy butthole. And like,
that's not a good combination, folks.
No, it's not. But tell me I'm wrong. Like, if you,
no, you're right. You're 100%
like,
right.
You're gonna be super salty. You're not gonna enjoy yourself at the convention,
right?
And like, what's the fun in that? So it's like, we're all playing a game. We're all big nerds, and we're all like trying to have fun. Like, I'm not gonna detract from anybody's win saying that, oh, it's all down to luck. Like, no, I think it takes all three things: repetitions, like skill, how good you are, luck, and like your health. Like, are you in a good mind state? Because I tell you what, you can be the best player in the world, but if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day, and it's going to affect your decisions.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. I play way worse when I'm tired. I play way worse when I've had a terrible day at work. I've had, like, I played terrible when I showed up at game night hoping for one type of game, and I'm getting another. You're just like, these are all things that just like tilt is a real factor. We talked about that.
Tilt's a huge factor for sure.
Yeah, like you just miss stuff. You tilt, and you're done.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
I mean, that's fine. I think we've like kicked this horse enough, to be fair. Yeah. So I think initially,
we don't talk about horses that way on this podcast.
Sorry, Bill.
No, he's not a horse. He's not a horse. We just don't talk about horses that way. We like horses.
Fair enough. I think that we were going to talk about like your best Hellfire roster, and then you said your best roster to beat Thanos Guardians. So let's do your best Hellfire roster to beat.
Segment is
dude,
segment
actually,
for this week.
The 2-threat mania might actually no. Thanos Guardians probably fucks up 2-threat mania.
Oh god, yeah. Pew pew.
Yeah,
everybody in Guardians hits outside of their weight class, so like
for
shooting into a bunch of 2-threats, and you're already kind of wide enough. Like
yeah, that deadly duo turn's gonna be sick. Rocket just kills 5 people.
Right.
Then looks at Emma like, "What now, bitch? Let's go."
I'm gonna laugh when the roster is literally just like Emma and
it's just my list. Yeah, that would be good too. Emma Guardians.
All right, there we go. Right. It's up. All right.
Great.
So here, challenge time. Build your best Hellfire Club roster and why it is, or build what it takes to take down Thanos, Guardians of the Galaxy / Maul Cabal. There we go. Yeah. All right, let's get into listener questions. From Barncat, with TTS Season X winding down to a conclusion, is it a big surprise that there isn't more Brotherhood representation?
No. Yes? I don't know.
Why no? Why no?
Oh,
I don't think it's a surprise.
It's the same as Adepticon, right? Where it's like Brotherhood, Criminals just weren't quite good enough. Lots of 3-in-1 showings from Brotherhood and Criminals.
Well, I think we can blame a lot of that on gentlemen's agreements, which are stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I don't completely understand all of that. I don't know. If
I just like I learned what those are yesterday, so I hate them.
The old gentleman's draw. So for anybody who's not aware, the gentleman's draw is, hey, I ran the numbers. This is totally not collusion, but if we draw, we're both in. But if or the winner of our game is in and the loser is out. And
not collusion.
It's not collusion, except it is totally collusion.
It's 100% collusion.
So the gentleman's draw is a thing that is an unfortunate, just reality of minis gamings, unless it's really cracked down on. There was a moment in X-Wing where there was an event where literally the entire top 8 gentlemen's drew to get in.
That's
so they were
filth.
just We're just
old friends.
If we all do this, then we all get in, and otherwise we a couple of these other guys might, and a couple of us might not. Like I have a hard time with it. I also kind of understand where it comes from, which is like, you did well enough on the day. The pairings were nice enough to you that now you have an opportunity to, have an early day and still play tomorrow. And I understand that, but it does not feel noble or honorable or anything else like in the spirit of the game.
I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. Like,
so I don't know if that happened at Adepticon. I assumed that it did, seeing a couple of draws.
I think okay, so round. I think with AMG being like, we don't want to be like too competitive, we want like fun and all that. I think it's in the spirit of that. Which okay, sure.
Yeah, but tournaments aren't even in the spirit of that,
Yeah, but it's like if I'm at like a tournament that we're gonna have like a first place prize, it feels kind of awkward to have somebody make it into the top 8 because they want a tie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually happened. I don't really know. Like, I feel like if you're at like bottom tables, like, and there's no chance of you making it to top 8, and you both just want to like basically stop playing, you want to go grab some drinks or food or something, sure, I don't care about that. But like, if I'm looking at a chance at top 8 and my opponent isn't, like, yeah, it feels bad, but you still got to earn your spot, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And the only counterpoint, I'm just, this is devil's advocate, not me trying to be like, you guys should do this. But like, the devil's advocate is you earned it to some extent because you've already put in the work. You got yourself to that point where you're able to take a game off.
But did you, if you got the pair down, like,
yeah, but if
you got the pair down, you're not going to be able to gentleman's draw in. You're not going to have the tiebreakers to do it.
Yeah, but if it happens, like let's say that situation, I don't know if it happened or not. I'm not saying it did, but like, seen as like it could have absolutely happened where you had the pair down where the person was absolutely not going to make it to top 8, but you had the chance to make it to top 8.
Yeah.
And you had the option. The person was like, I don't want to rob you of your chance to make it to top 8. I'd be like, no, man, like, I'm going to play this game with you and I'm going to make you earn your spot in the top 8.
Hell maybe that's the warrior mentality.
Maybe that's like a dick move, but it's like I don't know, like I'd want to like earn, like if I made it to top 8, I want to know I earned it and not like it was like I got in because my last game gave me the win.
Like, what if you gentlemen's in, then you lose your next game? Then you're just like, oh, so I'm a complete poser.
I don't know. Like I probably come off as super aggressive with this, but it's like, I don't know. Like, it's a competition. I know we're not like the most competitive podcast. We don't try to be anyways. We try to have fun. And I just enjoy playing
have fun
the game.
While competing.
But it's
fun.
But like exactly. Like I don't know. I don't like the idea of someone could be in the top 8 because of a bye or because someone just gave them the game.
So one of the things we've talked about on this show a few times is like, why are you here? Like, what did you show up to do? What's your goal today? So like,
you want to play, dog?
I mean, like, I like to play for the most part.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I'm signed up to these events to play in them far more than I'm signed up to them to like.
I didn't just show up. I love you guys, but like,
I showed up to play a game, and of course I want to win. But
it's also like if I go into like, let's say a pair down, and the person's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna make it to top 8, but you have a chance still." Like, I'm just gonna concede and give you the game. I'm gonna be like, nah, man, like, make me earn it. Like, that's how my mentality is.
Let's go.
Like, I'm gonna be like, I'm playing. Like, I'm here to play games. I'm not here to like be given a win.
Yeah, I mean, I've been handed stuff like that, and sometimes you just don't get the option because the person's literally like, no, like I'm literally just conceding and leaving, and you're like, but wait,
that's different, right? Like if they're done, that's different.
I'm not gonna lie though, like
But I love being a spoiler. Sorry, that was the second half of my. I'm out. I'm gonna knock you out too.
I have had that happen though. I have had that happen where it's like the person's like, "Hey, we're both out. I don't really feel like playing my game." I'm like, I literally drove like 2 hours to be here.
Right.
Like,
and I'm gonna stick around until the final standings are done. Like,
I want to play all 3 rounds. And then if I've had a person leaves, and it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm just sitting here for like an hour and a half, like,
right.
Not
especially when it's the last round of the day, and like you're doing well enough that like you actually want to stick around for the end, or like you have a vested interest in another player, or for whatever reason you're just not going to go home till the event's over, and you're like, sweet, great. Now it's different if the event like venue has like beer or something. Then like great. I know how to spend an hour.
That's fair.
But
I know what we're doing at Nova.
Let's go.
All right. Next question.
That was a fun one.
Oh yeah, my answer. I'm not really. No, I am surprised. I think Brotherhood being really not represented much is kind of weird.
I mean, they're no longer the newest, shiniest, right? They're just
they
everyone knows how good
they literally got Blob and Pyro at the beginning of the league.
Yeah, but like the only people don't play Blob, even though I think Blob is quite good.
I feel like this is also like a testament to like how long the leagues actually go on for.
Yeah, right. What starts at the where you start at the beginning.
Well, and we don't have locked lists. Yeah, like you can just play. Like I played 4 different rosters in TTS.
I mean, I guess you're gonna have like a season review, probably sometime soon. I'm assuming. I don't really know because I'm not really doing anything anymore with that.
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't like not to call him out, but like where's Jacob's stats? I want to see the stats for everything that comes out.
But what stats? What stats can there be if there's no locked list?
Well, stats for the tournament that happened today.
Oh, fair. Jacob's been MIA for what I know. I think he's been going through some stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know. I'm not gonna like say he's
whatever's going on, buddy. I wish the best for you. You're a cool dude. I like you a lot. You got me into this game.
He's very much been like quiet, so I hope everything's all well with him.
Yeah. Let's move on from that one.
Yep. Sure thing. Wild speculation, having not seen any of the cards, which announcement from today is going to shape the meta the most?
Gwen.
Bishop.
Gwen 100%. Oh, you mean
honestly,
like literally
everyone?
No,
he says from not seeing any of the cards.
Oh.
So I
Professor
actually
Xavier, probably.
No, honestly, I could see. Honestly, I'm really curious to see what Shadow King does.
Yeah,
that could be some really wicked stuff.
He could just be like a 5 through at Voodoo, right?
Where is he going to be? What is his affiliation?
Cabal,
Syndicate.
Well, we don't have like an X-Men baddies list yet, but he should be X-Men baddies.
Yeah.
He's not Brother. I mean, I guess he kind of is Brotherhood.
He's not Brotherhood.
Well, no, he's not the Brotherhood that you like. The Brotherhood is a team that was the X-Force baddies, right? It was like Dakin's Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So I only know Dakin as an X-Force leader or Brotherhood leader.
His New Mutants run from like the past like year or two. That's the only place where I'm familiar with that character.
Remender's X-Force is really good.
Like, Shadow King's like a wicked character. Which also has me really, really hopeful that Phantom X is coming to the game around the same time because he's.
You're already getting like 3 new X-Force characters. Calm down.
That's it.
You'll get Phantom X in like 2 years.
Oh my God, so many mutants.
What do you mean? What do you mean 3? Nightcrawler and Bishop are the only ones. Kitty's not X-Force.
She could be.
No, she's not. Another is Iceman.
Isn't Age of Apocalypse? Oh no, Age of Apocalypse Iceman is a X-Force baddie. You're right.
Yeah. Professor X. I think Professor X is the answer here because he's the 3rd X-Men leader. Hopefully, a second viable.
But is he really going to shape? Is he really going to? I don't know. I
think he needs to be. He's either going to be meta shaping or complete trash, right? Because like, there's only a couple ways you can really go with that character. That you have like a 3-threat support character who's like, he's Xavier. And he's like
3-threat. He's gonna be
or he's like a 5 minimum, and he's absolutely fucking nuts control piece. He's like just the control part of Thanos.
Let's truly look at Xavier's like power and the level of mutants. Like he's really not that strong.
He can turn your brain off.
Yeah,
one of the guys who can like recolonize Mars wears a hat specifically to keep him out of his head.
But the issue is he needs the hat to really unlock all of his powers.
That is debatable. The Cerebro extends his range a lot, right? But if he's right in the room with you, like fucking AVX, that man goes toe to toe with Phoenix Force Cyclops.
But the thing is like it has been talked about time and time again how if you like take like the average X-Men team and how like Jean Grey is like substantially more powerful than Xavier is. Like
telekinetic
as Phoenix, sure. Yeah. As
fine.
Just the character, no, not at all.
As Jean Grey, she just faints and falls to the ground. But when it really comes down to it, though, like yes, Xavier's strong. I won't deny that at all. But there's like I don't know, a Shadow King, in my opinion, is like stronger than Xavier.
Besides the fact that Xavier's beaten him repeatedly? So we're just ignoring that?
No, the fact that Shadow King is always a thorn in his side.
Well, sure, he's a thorn in his side. He's been trapped in the astral plane by Xavier repeatedly. Xavier's been like, "Yeah, go back to your room."
I don't care.
Yeah, like when you
Shadow
melt
King's
Magneto's
cool.
brain,
I
That's
don't
the
care.
real answer right there. Is I
Shadow
don't
King,
care.
I love that model. Like
That's
if we
cool,
look
man.
at okay,
but that's
if
not
we
what we're
look,
talking about. We're
if
talking
we
about
look-
who's the craziest in like.
if we look
lore-wise.
at the Hyper Viper tier list, Shadow King is going to be the top
That'd be cool. I hope he is.
because it's the coolest model in the game. Like you can't deny that. That model is so sick.
I like Bill's model.
Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost
Rider's model is fucking
insanely powerful.
sick, dude. Yeah, he's also like
No,
he's also.
but,
I thought
like-
this was so funny. The first Herald of Galactus we're getting is also the most recent.
True. I also really, really, really want to see Cutthroat paint Shadow King. I want to see his version of that.
That's fair. I want to run. So I'm just excited for Cosmic Ghost Rider because it means that I can run my Thanos Punisher Ghost Rider roster.
That's fair.
Hell
and have
yeah,
it be,
brother.
Like even more like Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Well, but
feels.
what if no? But Cosmic Ghost Rider's alter ego is Frank Castle. You won't be able to play them together.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Actually, we'll see. We'll see what
I'm
they
sorry
give.
about that. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it
We'll
is
see
all right,
Frank
all right, all
Castle.
right, all right.
It
All right,
is
so
Frank
you guys-
Castle, but we'll see what they give.
Are you guys both saying that Xavier is going to shape the meta the most?
I'll go
I
with
think
Cosmic
so.
Ghost Rider.
Cosmic
I-
Ghost Rider, he might be
Figure that out,
insane,
yeah.
but like based on what they did
Okay.
to regular Ghost Rider, I think he's just going to be like a 5-threat affiliated Guardian.
Okay, my true answer is going to be Nightcrawler
I can see that.
because I just imagine somebody like I just
Newest,
imagine.
shiniest run to the
Well,
corner.
he's a popular character, right? People love Nightcrawler.
Well,
Like, I
he's a
love
popular
Nightcrawler.
character. If they do him right, he's going to be mobile as all hell. I see him having Logan's builder, and then maybe like a spender
Pierce.
that teleports like without Pierce. Oh, he has swords.
He's
Like,
not holding swords in the
Yes,
No,
he
they-
is.
They said
he?
that it's an option to build. It'll be a
Yeah.
build option for him. He'll
Yeah.
have the swords.
So like I could totally see like I could see him being like just insanely mobile and really amping X-Men into the next level, like more than they already are.
because they need it. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep getting knocked out late.
Like I think
So they must-
Xavier, because Xavier should have like if Xavier doesn't have a leadership, I think the whole entire world riots.
That's
Um,
amazing
No,
for sure.
They
There's no way
said
he
he's
doesn't.
got.
Oh, they said he
leadership.
does. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's like I could see him being like
What is his
really
leadership
really
gonna be?
important, but it's like I think as far as like meta warping or game changing, like a more splashable character that isn't reliant on a leadership on their card is more meta warping than a character with a leadership.
Power Cosmic.
Yeah, Thanos is crazy.
That's what
His
I
leadership's so bad though, right?
All right, we're moving on to the next question. Mathematic, how is Professor X going to play?
That's what we were just talking about. Yeah, I think it really could go two ways. Like he'll be either like a hardcore support piece, or he will be just like the best control character in the game, who can also has like a spender that just makes your character.
why
activate.
can't he be both? Why can't he,
He
be
totally
a support
can.
piece that is like the most?
That's what I'm saying.
He
He'd
I
just
think
be
he's gonna
like
be
high
yeah.
threat.
Short. I think he's going to be like a short moving voodoo kind of piece where he's.
I don't know. I could see him being like a 4-threat Thanos.
Well, I don't know. Dude,
No, I think it's going to be a 5 or a
fourth threat
6.
Xavier would be crazy. I think 5 is like minimum for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I just evaluate like his power level lower than you guys.
you got to read more X-Men comics, not X-Force
Yeah,
comics.
I mean, he just melts people's brains. Like when the X-Men get in a bind that the writer can't write them out of, it's
Xavier,
literally
yeah.
just like bring Xavier in and melt their brain. Okay, we're done. Moving on.
Like when Magneto ripped out like Wolverine's skeleton, Xavier just was like, "No, you're done, bro. Like I'm not letting you do this shit ever again. I have abided your
Line.
existence long enough." Yeah, from like a
Market
fucking
Zero
continent
Donnie.
away. Yeah, he's like, "You're done." And like right now with Krakoa, he does insane shit all the time. He like pulls
Yeah, but
stuff out.
Krakoa Xavier is so different than wheelchair Xavier.
That's true. Okay, so going back to this wheelchair Xavier, what other stuff has he done? Besides like just the various mind warpings.
But that's like wheelchair Xavier is drastically different than like modern day Xavier.
Have you read the Grant Morrison New X-Men from like 2003?
Yes.
So Cassandra Nova is just unhinged Xavier, right? She's not
Yes.
more powerful than him. She
Well, she just doesn't have morals.
She destabilized the Shi'ar Empire,
Yeah.
like just by herself.
like from a distance too, right?
Yeah, like on a
I was
different
just
planet.
thinking about him, and I was like, what if we just
thinking
destabilize
about
this
an
empire?
alien fucking like civilization that's way more advanced than Earth like ever will be.
What if you guys just fell apart?
What if you just like? What if we just destroyed everything? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want like super OP Xavier. I want.
Well, that's a different statement than he's not cool.
He can have a tactic.
You're not even going to put him on the table. You're just going to bring him to the game, and then you're going to be able to remove a character of equal or lesser threat value from their squad.
Oh my god.
He's just playing chess with them. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Will he have an attack that only moves or debuffs? Maybe. I don't know. I see him do
style. Please, God, no.
Oh my god. All right. Which new release are you looking forward to the most? Bishop/Nightcrawler. Absolutely.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider for me. I'm really excited for Gwenpool as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Cosmic Ghost Rider definitely takes the cake. He's a new Guardian. He's cool as fuck.
All right, another one from Mathematic. Should Pat get nerfed? I really don't think so. Pat loses games.
He does lose games.
Pat loses games. Like the dude like puts in the work to get like the winnings that he gets. And not saying that people who don't win don't put in the same amount of work that he does, if not more. It's just like I don't know. I feel like Pat really Pat's good. Like
He's a good player.
If anything, play into Pat. And
dude, Pat's a great guy. Like before I was even on a podcast, Pat was willing to play with me.
Yeah.
It's really easy to look at this Adepticon final and be like, Gamma Researcher, Mal and Thanos. Bleh. There's another phase.
I saw you do that earlier today, bro.
Pat and bots. Bleh. At the same time, there are great things that both players did during this game. Yeah. Good decisions, bad decisions. There like you can just watch this game and you can see what good players do.
I gotta watch this game, dude.
Time to decision.
All right. Next question. Smart Alec. How do you feel about Malcolm versus Thanos final out of Adepticon? I think we've answered that enough.
I love that all the questions are just for my bros. Thanos versus Mal. Yeah, I guess Thanos did win in this situation. It's like, do you want to put all... Because Thanos is a bigger team player than Mal, right?
Yeah.
And this is still a team-based game. So would you rather buff your entire team or have one super crazy monster riding a tiger?
I'd like one super crazy monster who's also a team player.
Yeah.
Or you could run both.
Or you could run both.
Also, yeah.
All right. Sure thing. Who's the cutest 2-threat? I think, okay, I'm answering this first because I have a legit answer for this. The cutest 2-threat is legit, like, anybody who put a tiny, like, badger on Honey Badger's base.
On her face?
On her base.
Oh, on her base.
Like, my Honey Badger, I legit have, like, a little Honey Badger. Like,
Badger is probably the cutest, like...
I don't know. Nebula's played by Karen Gillian. Karen Gillian's really hot.
Yeah. Nah, it's cute. We're going for cute.
Oh, so what does cute mean?
I don't know.
Whatever you want it to mean.
Infantile? Yeah. I don't know.
Badger's pretty cute. Like it's just
Badger is a 16-year-old. That is like cute girl. Cool. Toad's pretty cute. in the same way that like you gotta hear me out. Toad's cute in the same way that like a Shih Tzu or like a really ugly dog is cute, you know? It's like, oh, little buddy.
Right, yeah. Like,
you're doing your best.
So, like, when I was putting my Toad...
He makes that noise when he tries to breathe through his big-ass tongue.
When I put my Toad together, I lost his tongue. So he just looks derpy as all hell. Like he
looks derpy with the tongue.
Tale as old as time. Like that's I feel like there are more toads without tongues than there are toads with tongues.
My Toad has half of his tongue for sure.
That's fair. All right. Actually, Coulson, how did we let Pat Dunford come over and best us in our own tournament? I wasn't there, and none of us were there.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So,
yes,
Smash Pat.
You're to blame. Rogue agents, we're to blame. You're welcome.
Yep.
Sorry, bros.
All right.
Yeah, you know, we gotta get the Patreon going harder so we can finance all of our trips to these events.
All I can say is the taco truck tried, right? Because like there was
Bots,
there.
Bots was there.
Bots.
Ghosty taco truck.
All right, Treffin.
He's affiliated,
Treffin Wood. I think he's a infamous podcast guy.
Infamous. Ooh.
Bots.
Hypothesis. Treffin Wood.
Okay.
Hypothesis: the game would be in a healthier and better competitive state if 6+ threat models were relegated to some sort of epic non-standard format. Agree or disagree?
Talking to my boy all wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
So I thought about this last night for what that's worth, and I do think that there's some validity to it as a statement where it's just like I do feel and always have felt that this game is balanced on a 2 to 6 threat 2 action curve. And when you put a model like Thanos, you put in a model like Mal that's like
Or
on the
Red
top
Skull.
end. Well,
Immortal Hulk.
Anybody on the top end of the threat spectrum who can effectively buy or gain like action economy, like space on Thanos, right? Or charge on Malekith, or Gamma Leap on Hulk. Like all that stuff is just a little like that's big. Those are very powerful abilities. I like having big, fun, powerful characters to play with, but I'm not here for the balance. Like
I'm both here for the balance and I like big models.
I want a good, well balanced game. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I mean, Sam and I have talked about this before, where it's like what if they like made Thanos like you could only play him as the leader of Black Order?
That's so mean.
I mean,
Thanos teams up with people all the time. If Thanos becomes an affiliated Guardian, then we're good to go, baby.
I'm just saying we brought it up before, where it's like it has come up to like, is there ways to do it to like balance it out? But I don't know. Like I like the puzzle and I like having the challenge of like this person has Malekith. Like also because I feel like I have the tools to take care of like a Malekith. Like I took care of Malekith very handily last night. Like
going wide is still so good. I don't think we need to like relegate going tall to like a special kind of game mode. I think it's good to have both styles of gameplay in the game.
Yeah, I would say though it really, and it comes down to what we were talking about earlier, is I feel like just a lot of people weren't prepared to like go into Malkabal or Malekith in general, and like because not many people for the past like I don't know 6-8 months have really been playing Malekith or Thanos for that matter. It's been
a
like,
concession, right? It's like, are you bringing escort to safety? Are you bringing recal? Are you bringing other things that can?
Yeah, do you have the things that beat these characters?
Yeah, and that goes back to the punting conversation. That goes back to all sorts of stuff. Like, what did you bring and why? Like, what did you expect to see? What did you think your bad matchups were? What did you think the things that you needed to have in place, the silver bullets you thought you wanted, and you either brought them or you didn't.
Or you have characters that deal with those characters like Logan and Psylocke.
Black Cat and Pyro.
Dude, great.
Yeah.
But it very much comes down to like, I guess, I don't even know where I'm going with that, but it's I don't know. I don't think that they need to be like relegated to like a specific game format.
I agree. Marvel Cosmic is one of the things that I love about Marvel IP. And so for me, like those are all like just OP things. Everything that is in the cosmic universe is just like bigger and stronger and better than the street level dude.
Yeah, like I'd love to get a Galactus in this game.
Right?
Like, give me a Galactus.
Luke Cage is a badass.
He is.
Thanos is just like, what if Luke Cage went splat? Like there's no reason why these cosmic level threats, right, are even concerned about street level people. The fact that
it's funny that you bring that up because, like, in this game, fucking Luke Cage can still fuck up Thanos, and that's insane.
Yeah, like exactly. Like that's awesome.
Like, yes, these big characters can feel really bad when they're doing well, but when they're not doing well, and your Thanos gets killed by Sam Wilson, it's like, oh fuck. Like, okay, that's the balance.
Well, coming like further along the conversation that was happening, Smart Alex said, does this include 6 threats? Because A-Force and Magneto players would probably be sad if it does. Yeah. Personally, I agree with 7+ being shifted out, but I'd like the 6 threats to stay. And then Trevor would responded with, this is a discussion. 7+ for sure. I'm torn 50-50 on the 6s, mainly due to some of them being over the curve and some being under.
I mean, you can say the same thing about 5s, right? Now we're on a slippery slope. What about 4s? Why don't we just play 2s and 3s and 4 threats with grunts? Like I want all the game modes on the table. I want more options.
But it also I don't know. You have all of the agency as a player in your roster creation to like handle the 7+ threats. Like Immortal Hulk don't scare me. Like Thanos don't like. Sam played freaking Thanos, Malekith, and a Red Skull into me last night, and I was like, I felt like if I had Crimson Dawn, I think I actually win that game. The more I think about it, but it's like it alters your lines of play, but it also makes
if we're banning 6 threats and 5 or whatever the fuck, can we also ban tanky 3 threats because they're OP? Like it's a slippery slope.
Without 6 and 7s.
In all honesty,
they still are like how it's not easy to 1-round a Luke Cage, and if you don't 1-round a Luke Cage with Malekith has killed 1 3-threat character with his activation. Right?
It's not easy to 1-round a 23, and if you fully load a 23, that's like potentially killing your entire
so
team.
I think we're all agreeing that we need to keep the game exactly the way it is for a large way, in a big way.
Like, I just think that like you have too much agency as a player in your roster creation to consider these things, and if you don't consider them, like, and I don't think it takes your whole entire roster punting every other list to take care of like Malekith or Thanos. It really doesn't. It only takes typically one tech slot, if not maybe two.
Well, like
but typically those, but it's also like those tech slots you're bringing are typically good into other things too. Like I think Logan and Psylocke are amazing into both Thanos and Red Skull and Malekith.
They are. They're all those things they are good into. Yes,
but they're also really, really good into everything, and they're 4 threats. Like, and they don't take up card space if you don't really want them to. So it's like, as a player, like AMG has designed it to where we have the agency to deal with these larger threat people, and it always comes down to the same thing where it's like you're taking an 8 threat Thanos, cool. My Logan and Psylocke are getting way more output.
Yeah, together they are 8 threat.
Yeah, and they arguably have better action economy and more output than your.
It's not
Thanos
arguable. They do.
There's no argument there. Like Thanos is bringing something completely different to the table.
Or if you look at, let's just say, I keep going to X-Force characters, but like Psylocke in 23, like Psylocke literally has Malekith's builder minus the Pierce.
Yeah,
I mean that's a pretty big deal, and the exploding skulls. That's like the parts that make it good.
You're not wrong, but if I take 23 and Psylocke to make 7 threat, like
yeah, that's what like it's so hard to say that like those characters are not worth, or like that they're they're too good for their threat, when you can make something like, I think the bigger conversation is like how they affect priority and stuff like that, than whether or not you can like make them viable as like, because and you compare any 2 4 threats to Thanos, and like there's gonna be ways that he comes off as not favorable, but you compare them and then say, oh, also you get 1 turn with this guy, so you always have priority, you can always kill who you want to kill. That's what makes them good, right? And that's why like characters like Red Skull are so good.
Would you rather have Thanos or
Bill and Voodoo?
I'd rather have Bill and Voodoo. More games than
that. Again, like,
to be completely honest.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not run that at 16? That sounds great.
So Victoria said in the chat, Toad is like Patches when you're talking about Toad being cute.
Patches from like Dark Souls?
No. We have a dog, his name is Patches. And he's like, he literally is that derpy little dog that like
good
snorts and
we need derpy little dogs in our lives.
Noises. We have 2 derpy little dogs.
I love to hear it.
Dogs.
One of them, like, she literally like will stand up on her back 2 legs and like beg for food. Like, it's adorable. Also in the chat, Blundy, Storm believes that Shadow King is a weaker telepath than Charles. Fine, I concede. But Shadow King's sculpt is so much cooler than Charles is.
Okay, but like, of course,
I'm pretty sure Charles is like hands down the preeminent telepath on planet Earth.
He is. He's like, the most powerful telepath on the planet.
He's our dude. He's our guy.
Especially in Krakoa time. Krakoa time, he's like doesn't give a shit no more.
Even before then,
I think he's also like Marvel's like best. Oh wait, no. They're like we talked about earlier. Cosmic characters are just like better than him, hardcore for sure.
But like even like in the Infinity Abyss, Thanos designed a character, Leader X, to like one of his clones that gets made was like literally to take on Xavier.
Wasn't Legion stronger than Xavier?
Legion's not a telepath. He's a reality warper.
That's fair. All right, with that we have. All right, you got any closing thoughts? It's been a long one.
I want to say it again. Gwenpool has the exact same defensive stats as Ulik. So if you've been enjoying Ulik, maybe take a look at my man Gwen or my girl Gwen. I'm very excited to play Gwen. She looks very good.
I'm gonna read her books next.
Her books are really fun. I enjoyed her books so much. There's a trade paperback that has all of her appearances. Like it has her solo series. It has Gwenpool Strikes Back. It has West Coast Avengers.
Is she a 6'6" health or is she 6'5"?
She's 6'6". No, she's literally she's 2 less health than Ulik. She has the exact same defensive stat line. She is so good.
Heck yeah!
And the fact that she's got I think the retcon powers activates the coolest thing.
Yeah, the pay X to reroll. It's on defense or dodge or attack.
Well, that's why I'm like debating on throwing her in X Force because I could literally throw in another 4 threat that is like.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think she's gonna be great in Guardians because you can use the Wing It token until she's self-sufficient, and then you don't need it anymore. You can give it to someone else.
Yeah. All right. Any other closing thoughts?
Oh, I love you. I love all of you. All right. Thanos does win. He's good at that.
All right. With that, we have been the Rogue Agents, and you have been the Thanos Theory listeners.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced.
Thanks, Thanos.
In this war, there's no surrender.
He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky? You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.